Oh my God, it's gotta be working now. It's got to be working now. Hello, hello. What is going on? What is going on? Come on, come on. Can you hear me? Hello. I came for Raj, not gonna lie. That's okay, Mel. Sounds better now. Oh, well, it's working now. Hurrah! Sounds brilliant. I apologize for that, but I'm going to be honest. It was a bit of a boo-boo. The volume was not quite right. Anyway, I'm going to be a little bit distracted today because I am trading at the same time. Anyway, let's get Hassan on. Oh dear. Somebody was asking me about Bitcoin. Is that right? How many times? Technical fault people all sorted. Indeed. Pop out chat first so I know what you guys are talking about. Let's send invite Raj. Invite. What are you trading? Bobby G's asking me. I have a trade open. US dollar and the Swiss franc. I'm not telling you which way. Bear with me while I get Hassan in. I think Hassan has a lot to talk about today. He's very eager. There we go. Bitcoin time. Yep, it does look a bit promising for Bitcoin than it was a few weeks ago. But I was still expecting it to go below 5,000 and it hasn't done so. Need to have a look at the chart really to see what it's saying. Bitcoin. Hassan, I'm sending you another link, mate. Could you send me back a kebab? So, Bitcoin, where's Raj? Raj is coming, don't worry, you won't have to put up with me too much longer. I know you all love Raj. I trade crypto, but want to learn legacy markets. Okay. How are you going to learn that, mate? Hassan sounded well stoned earlier. Interesting. Hello, Mr. Jagannath. Who smokes weed out here? You, by the sounds of your grammar, mate. Is HMRC easy to deal with declaring BTC profits, etc.? Bobby G, is there what's the regulation about tax on HMRC? First look into that. Manny, I heard you from Leeds. Is it true? Many years ago. Everyone moved on to London now, mate. Greetings from Nottingham. Hello. Nottingham used to have a great nightlife a few years ago. Peace, peace. Kurt is saying Raj is a cheap whore. That's not very nice. He's not that cheap. Giggle, giggle, giggle. Oh, so Happy now said, oh, it went down to, oh no, I always look at things with dollars. I never look at things on pound because there's a extra calculation from US dollars being the main currency over to pounds. So the real price would have been US dollars. What about this Ethereum Classic? That's only £10 a token. Okay. The problem with Bitcoin is it's the busier the main Bitcoin gets, the slower that blockchain becomes. And the way it works is, I don't know if you guys know this, the way it works is the biggest transaction will go through first. For example, if you're trying to sell a single Bitcoin and everybody else is selling 10 and it's peak traffic, you could be waiting for 2 weeks for your sale to go through. So that's why you've had a bridging section, types of Bitcoins like BTS and whatever they are. I mean, the ultimate digital currency hasn't been released yet. That's all I'm going to say about that. What's your ethnic background? Rafi saying, does it matter what my I'm British Punjabi, if you really want to know. Bobby, what trading resources to learn would you recommend for a newbie? Just tell me directly what it is that you want to learn, and then I'll be able to. Don't give me a roundup summary. Give me specifics, like a list of specifics. Fiddling tax with Bitcoin HMRC on your case, fella. What? Not fiddling anything. I certainly wouldn't want to take on HMRC, I can tell you that much. Is the Earth flat? Dawa man is asking. I don't know. I do not have a rocket to go up and look. It's a good argument from the flat earthers, though, I'll tell you that. Go Live Media, hello. You don't need to pay, we taking it. I think you mean Bitcoin tax. Which platform do you recommend to trade on? For a starter, MT4. Bitcoin is not halal. About me saying. I've read an article somewhere about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and that some religious Muslim cleric chap confirmed that it was okay to buy digital currency. Funny that, isn't it? Like, how would you even comprehend if something is religiously viable or not? Anyway. Guys, you guys are messaging fast, man. How was Speaker's Corner this week? That's what we're going to talk about when Raj and Hassan come. You need outing from chat. Comet aeroplane. What does that mean? I only speak English, mate. Did you think of Jedi versus Amy interaction? I haven't seen that yet, to be honest. I heard it's very, very bad. That's all I know about it. Manny is agnostic on the shape of flat Earth. WTF question mark. I'm 50-50. Most evidence points to Earth being flat. Like I said, it's not that clear in my eyes. More of a researcher, you have to look at things both ways. Well, I was thinking, now we've got a few Muslims on the chat. I was thinking, if Muslims pray a certain direction, then surely Islam thinks the earth is flat, because if there is a curvature, then if you're praying in a direction, then you're not really at the curvature direction, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Have you ever read the Guru Granth Sahib? I've read a lot of it, yes. I have read a lot of it. I've researched all religions. Hi, Morton. Hiya. Researched all religions, but I did it on a very astrotheological level. I didn't go into the literal level. See, all religious books, are written in at least 7 levels. So say for example you're reading a religious book, you're going to read the literal meanings, then you're going to read the how can we say, the representative meaning. And what I mean by that is, for example, if we take the Bible, it's not Adam and Eve, it's the Adamic race, and Adam and Eve are just metaphors for a whole group of people. And then you have the symbolic representation of the religious books, and then you have things like astrotheological side of it, and it goes on and on. I know things about religions that even some of the priests and the clerics don't know. I don't mean that in a like a egotistical level. This all these things are of interest to me. I wanted to know why people on a psychological level were so obsessed with it. But I don't talk specifics about religion. It's I don't find it very how can I say, productive. Jedi has turned to the dark side. Has he? Maybe I should watch that video. Has been turned to the. What would you do if you died and saw Ganesh? Would you touch his trunk? I can pretty much guarantee you that there wouldn't be a man with an elephant head in the spiritual realm. I would put a tenner on it. Manny, what music do you listen to? Not a lot of music, to be honest. Rather listen to a lecture or something like that. I like to learn. I'm a student of life. Vedic cosmology is using flat Earth. Yes, it is. Man with, I don't know. So what's this? Everyone's really obsessed with Jedi. He was trying to unite with some races to overthrow the government. Seemed to call Jedi, and he wouldn't have freed him. Oh, okay. Well, we've got some religious dudes on here today. King Pogba, Manny, don't you have a wife or a girlfriend, mate? Why? Do you want to fill the role if I haven't? Oh, good on you, Mr. Dawa, man. Like I said, I moved out from those from Yorkshire many years ago. Wouldn't go back if you paid me. Happy now, winning in knock. Manny, I have sent you the link, you lunatic Hassan. Let me send it to you again. Hassan, I've sent it to you at 21:48, and I've just sent it to you again at 21:59. Raj is coming, Hassan is coming, don't worry. Got it now. All right, well, Hassan's coming shortly. Hello, Hassan.
Hi, mate. How's everything? I love you all, kids. How are ya?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Where's Raj?
One minute. Let me mute this TV. There you go. That's better. Jesus Christ. I think Raj is going to be eating a little bit of his baked beans. Got to be Heinz, of course, and then he's going to be coming in. Oh, by the way, to the guys out there, guess what? I'm actually going to get my teeth sorted out. I've had enough of this. You look like a crackhead. I'm like, yeah, I know. That was the look I was going for. Oh, is that? Oh, we got Dawah man as well. He watched our show as well. Bless him. Oh, you got lovely eyes.
So what are you going to get done to your teeth, mate?
Basically, they're going to get some dentures put in. Just get it just sorted out. Understand me? It's starting to look ridiculous even for me, to be honest with you. And my genes in my family have never ever been good for dental work. I mean, if you're saying that, my father, and I'll give you the most big prime example, he's never ever had drugs put down his throat, and his teeth are shocking as well. Do you understand me? It's just what my floor is, man. It's like if there weren't for this floor, you guys wouldn't be getting vagina, basically. So, works both ways.
Hassan, what's been happening with Amy and Jedi? I've just heard a few things go around. Has something drastic happened?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it has. Amy, look, Amy's an elderly lady that's basically she's had enough of basically she's too long in the tooth, basically, and she's gone down to Jedi and she's tried to explain to him, look, you know, what's the situation? And because James Goddard was down there, and look, I've got nothing bad to say about James Goddard before you say anything, understand me, but they've gone down there and basically they've all got riled up in the commotion, and from there what's happened is because Amy, like, she's an elderly lady, man. Like, she's not like a young buck, so to speak. So there's been a lot of pushing and a lot of shoving. You understand me? And then to top it off, someone made a comment. I'm not gonna say who because I don't want that headache of going through that shit. You understand me? But someone that's not on our side said to her that even your body doesn't like you, even that's rejecting you. In those words are very similar too. So it just goes to show you. I mean, they just won't they won't stop to stoop to all new levels. Do you understand me? Like you're telling a disabled woman that's never assaulted you, never insulted you, just wants to debate in a passionate way her view, and you've gone and done something as disgusting as that. And then what I love about it is that these people claim the high ground in life. That's the sickening part. I could understand if they said, you know what, I'm a bitch, I'm a shithead, I'm a dickhead, and so are you. That's a different story. But these people go on like their shit don't stink, like they're old the world, and guess what? We've got to be grateful and persecute ourselves and whip the shit out of ourselves because we just happen to be white. You know what? Fuck that. I've had enough of that shit. Anyway, to be honest with you, it's getting silly. Understand me? Like, a strong, able man. And another thing, I saw that idiot walking into the park, and the way he was going in, as if like there was a fire or he had to save his family in that. And that was the most disgusting part as well. But we just didn't know. We just assumed that Jedi was just going in there just for the sake of seeing what's in there.
I see. So Amy got upset because somebody said that to her.
Yeah, and there was as I say, there was that. I would say Amy would have took that on the chin, but cheers, Kurt. I could understand that, but in the sense that I think Amy could have took those words, but I think it's more the pushing and shoving. Do you understand me? That is what I reckon would have got her more riled up. Do you understand me? And it didn't help. It didn't help. This stupid blonde woman coming on there and pointing their fingers in people, okay, and trying to provoke the people that were there, which Amy was trying to fend off with another good friend of mine, understand me? So I just find it just disgusting, like if we had done that kind of action on a Muslim woman, oh my God, there would have been all hell to pay. There would have been all hell to pay. Understand me? It's just disgusting. And again, you still just get idiots that just insist on talking about teeth and hair and crackheads. Understand me? It's not relevant that a old woman was getting barged about, pushed about.
Just two things. Dawa man is obviously he's a batty boy.
Is he?
He's asking what's Hassan's opinion on anal. What?
I'm going to be honest with you. You know what people do in their bedroom is really none of my business. I really could not give a flying fuck what people do in their business. As long as it's legal and consented and mutual, I personally don't give a flying fuck. I don't.
So anyway,
I've
I
got
mean,
so
I
much more
think
things to
Dawa
worry about.
man's probably on his last life in terms of staying on this channel. Thank you for removing that, whoever that was, Morton. Thank you. So Angela said here, "Hi guys, Ratface and his sidekick Mini Me was asking
Yeah.
Amy why she has attempted suicide, but not in a concerned way, in a very spiteful way." Well, that Omar, aka Ratface, is a very spiteful. He's psychologically disturbed because nobody would want that level of hatred and create that level of hatred for themselves. It's not right, and he's obviously not looking at things correctly. This is what I mean. All these people need to go see a psychiatrist, or the government psychiatrist needs to go visit their family homes to see what type of trauma and abuse these people have how can I say experienced, because it has to be resolved, because if these people have children, they pass that trauma on. So, for example, if they were abused, then it's virtually likely that they're going to conduct the same type of abuse on their children. So, it's all one saying that we need to prison people, for doing X, Y, and Z. We also need to imprison the parents, because the parents, created those little demons. My view, anyway. So that's not very nice,
Totally
Angela, what
agree.
you've just took. What if he was doing that? Sorry, Hassan, I interrupted you twice there.
That's all right, my brother. Don't be silly, mate. You can interrupt me as long as you want, my brother. You always talk sense, to be honest with you. But it's going back to that family institute that they're brought up in as well. It's true. Like, for example, we don't ever ask ourselves, why are their youth committing crime? Do you understand me? They just need to sort of like get things established and then just keep the status quo. But there's people that are always wanting to change it. I mean, you look at what a family and nucleus was 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, and you see what it looks like today. And I'm sure that it's to the point where it's unrecognizable in that sense. It's a million miles apart. And I would say we ain't found a happy medium. Do you understand me? I think the medium section of where we sort of like transit from is such a quick episode. We don't recognize it. We're always either wanting to go to the left or we want to go to the right. There's no just stay in the middle of the bloody road. Make political decisions based on social requirements that are needed in today's life. To understand me? So it's just mad. And going back to Rap Boy, and I'm going to just keep this really easy. To the guys and girls that go down to Speaker's Corner and are a little bit aggressive, Rap Boy is your Achilles heel, because guess what? He's going to incite you, he's going to provoke you, and you are then going to get controlled by that idiot, inbred, disgusting, vile, abusive, putrid person that he is. He goes on, and I could tell you this: the amount of episodes I've seen this guy in real life going up to people, and initially starting the problem, okay, and then get shocked at receiving the same medicine is hypocritical at best. Yeah, Omar is bait. I mean, that's basically it. He's just bait. And I don't know. And to be honest with you, if you've heard what Omar has said to me, I mean, I find it pathetic, to be honest with you. I mean, he's the first one that will call your mother a whore and your mum's a dirty kafir and all the rest of it. But when it comes to taking a little bit of medicine back, he cries like a bitch, like a typical Muslim. You know, you insulted me. You insulted me. It's like, bruv, if you don't want insults, don't dish it out. And when people won't dish it out to you, do you understand me? We don't go around the world going, oh, your Father's Day or your Mother's Day. And if these people that can't see that have got to be explained this to, well, they're just stupid, basically, innit? I mean, you know, if I saw there was a episode, I would assume there's the other side to this. Do you understand me? So, you know, I don't care, to be honest with you. I really don't give a shit about Rat Boy as much as I care about Rat Boy, as much as Rat Boy cares about me, and I'm assuming that's little to none.
But I've seen him converse with you in a fairly respectful manner in the past. But we don't, you know, nobody seems to see that side of him often enough.
No, I hear what you're saying. Like, if you want a civil discussion with Rat Boy, you could possibly have one if you talk about the things that he really likes. But if it's a case of you've got a different view to Rat Boy, and that's where the real strength of a human is. You can see he's to the point where you can't engage with him. He's, you know, unapproachable.
Sure.
He gets, and you know, he goes with these Muslims that all pat each other on the back and, you know, suck each other's cocks just to sort of like have a kinship amongst them. But, you know, I'll let you go on with that one.
I was just going to ask you, so obviously I left much earlier than you. So at what time did you guys stay there till? And did anything exciting happen after that time? After about 5? What did you guys get up to?
After 5, we left around 9, 10ish, 11. Like, we left the park at around 9. Basically, the last person that I saw, it was just people there, but it was just talking bollocks, you know. Like, you just walk past and you're just thinking, yeah, that's rubbish, that's pants. Yeah, I wish I'd stayed for Callum's talk. I was a bit upset about that, but you know, I was happy enough to get my catch up on YouTube on that one. But
okay, what time did Callum speak?
What
time did Callum speak?
I really can't tell for myself, but it was around, I think 10, because it looked really dark in the background. Understand me? Like, dark as in, you know, nightshade. You understand me?
Okay.
And that was basically it. And then we went to McDonald's. We had our little chat as we normally do, and then from there, I wanted to get home. I remember being home by 11 o'clock. I remember it was before 11, and I walked through the door. I was just so absolutely shattered. I got hit for 6 that day. Literally hit for 6.
Right. Sorry. Eos Nero is asking, what do you think of Sikhs marrying their cousin in Peshawar? Where's Peshawar? That doesn't sound like something that I've come across. Eos Nero, are you able to type quickly where Peshawar is?
Yeah, to be honest with you, you know what we really need down Speaker's Corner? We need people that are willing to be just witnesses to the crimes that are happening down there. Because I could tell you one thing, you know, if we did really stand there and sort of like had the same ethos, as in unity, as the Muslims did in regards to that, you know what, free speech would be established in this country in little to no time, just genuinely. And there are crimes down there. The amount of assaults that are happening, you know, and that's not including commerce happening down there. I mean, I saw someone yesterday, Sunday, selling aftershave for a $5. I mean, like, seriously, bruv? Like, you know, and the weirdest thing, he's not even doing it discreetly. It's like, you can see it like a mile away, and you just think, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, it's a landmark that just allows you to just talk. It doesn't allow you to sell. And this is what they do. I mean, no one.
So I was just going to get back to Io. So it's in Pakistan. I wouldn't know anything about it if it's in Pakistan. Going back to you, Hassan, is there any drug deals that goes on in Speaker's Corner?
You know what? I love being called the grass, and I'm telling you, there's 100% is happening there. 100%.
Really? Wow.
100%.
Okay, but obviously it won't be happening in front of the police officers, will it?
You know, the most stupidest thing is that they've got undercover officers in that place. They have undercover officers in that place, and I reckon it's not because they say something drastic that is the reason why they're getting kicked out of the park. I reckon it's more to the point that they get caught selling or, you know, doing something that's against park regulation is the reason why they're getting kicked out of the park. You know, I mean, just look at the crime figures in Speaker's Corner. You know, it's little to none at best. You know, because when you consider when you're down there and you see the shit that happens, it's mad. It's mad, and it is mad. And for a person on the chat, they asked about crimes. How about putting ISIS flags up? I mean, would you see that as a lawful action to do in a country? I mean, it has been known as a terrorist organization, but yet you can have someone that goes up there and he puts it up. He puts up a flag, and you're talking about crimes.
Yeah, it's obviously unlawful and it's illegal together. But the problem is that those who have been appointed to carry out the rule of law are being told from the higher ranking officers not to, you know, to turn a blind eye. I mean, I'm sure no police officer joins the force to stand back when things like that are happening. It's whether they're allowed to do so by their superiors.
Again, see, I don't. I remember the days when a police officer was a police officer. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what their superiors told them. It really didn't. I'm sure they had targets that they needed to reach then as well. But there seemed to be more. I don't know. How do you say the word? More sensible and more just. Like, you know, I'm gonna give you one episode of my life. I was involved in quite a lot of horrible shit. Basically, I'll never forget. It's the policeman that shows you how to get out of it, you know, and how to be sensible and how to use the law effectively for your own benefit in life. Do you understand me? It really does, you know. But now it's the total opposite. Now you're getting criminals getting taught by policemen that are instructed to assist the criminals in a bizarre way. Like, you know, they're telling them, you know, like you could wait until your solicitor comes out. You know, it's just bizarre. I mean, it is fucking bizarre. There's no other word for it. Understand me? Just is. Sorry, I was rambling on there for a second.
That's all right. Mr. Rax has joined us.
Hey, Mr. Rax.
Yep, Mr. Rax has joined us. There was somebody else, as you saw here, that typed out Manny. Oh, where's that message gone?
Anyone got any questions they want to fire away before Mr. Raj comes down and we need to fill his ego at some ridiculous rate?
Oh yeah, when he comes on, he's taking over control completely. Sarah Dicker's here. Smith Winston's here. They're all here. Gurjit Singh is here. They're all getting, you know.
Is that JK here? That JK, that little the supposed moderate Muslim.
TNTS Greek is here. I haven't seen JK. He's on Raj's channel primarily, isn't he? He's a big Raj fan. Tommy is free. Tommy Robinson News is here. Hello.
Tommy's not free. He's not free yet, guys. He's far from free. He's got a court case at the Old Bailey. To be honest with you, that's not a very freeing experience. I can tell you that. It's not. He's not a free man. Understand me? He's got a retrial that he's got to do. Like, I don't know if they're going to get years for him, but.
So when is his retrial? Is it this week?
If I remember rightly, it's on the 27th. I've got it as a reminder, but I think it's on the 27th of this September. That time he's got to show his face at the courts again, and basically.
Maybe if Tommy is free, Tommy Robinson News could confirm when the next trial is. Eos Nero is asking me, tell us your true feelings on Pakistanis, mate. I don't have any feelings about Pakistanis, mate. You know, certainly don't have any you know, nasty feelings about them. I have a question for Hassan. Hassan, you've got a question here. If what Allah says of non-Muslims in the Quran was said of Muslims instead, would it be Islamophobic?
I think you think I'm a Muslim, but I really don't care what the Quran says. Personally, I really don't give a shit. I think it's just a book, and basically this. But what I could say is, if the Muslims were treated as bad as they treated the rest of us, I would be screaming then as well, to be honest with you. I just don't want people to be suffering. I really am not in for that. I really am not.
Right, well, there's your answer, guys. If you have something else, what do you think of cousin marriage beyond atheism? Is asking me.
I think there's plenty more.
I wouldn't recommend it because of health and children reasons. But you know, we know it's a big part of culture in many countries.
Mine's a very simple thing. If you want a great society, what you do is you get bigger families, and the only way you're going to get a bigger family is by finding someone from outside the family to join that family. Fucking what's in that family makes no sense to me whatsoever, if that's the kind of society that you want. And the reason why cousin marriages were and are acceptable in our culture is to keep money in the family. I mean, let's not kid here. I mean, that's all it was back then. And the inability for a man to be able to go to another village and be able to impress another woman would have been out the possibility. So, yeah, don't worry, just paint the first cousin. That would make no sense.
Okay, well, someone called Raj Speakers Corners joined us. Do you know him, Hassan?
Yeah, that freaking beyond atheism. You beyond atheism. Yeah, I know you from Speakers Corner. Stop talking trash about freaking this cousin marriage. I'm gonna embarrass you. I like
Is
you.
that him? Is that
it's
him?
That lunatic that likes effing his cousins all day. What a sick individual, man.
Why would you want to fuck the first cousin?
You know what it is, yeah? You know about that guy, yeah? I do like him, but whenever I see him now, all I see is him effing his cousins left, right, and center. Dude, people used to shit on the street 600 years ago. They've stopped it now. There's a reason why. There's the birth death shit in Redbridge. You know, they've done a study in Newham. In the Pakistani community, the still birth shit is around 20%. And the UK average, yeah, for all the other population is like 2 or 3%. Yeah, your people are turning into rats.
Can I add to that as well? Not only that, you've got the aftermath of inbreeding that needs some time. And I'm sure, I'm not going to quote it, but I'm sure these sickle cells are directly linked, because when you're,
oh my God,
you go down
I didn't even realize that was there.
Like, shut up.
No, I just need to apologize to Gurjit Singh. I didn't even realize that was there until now. Oh my God, I should have took that off in the first place. Sorry, bro. Yeah, don't worry. No, it's nothing. Don't worry. I had to put something away. Sorry, Gurjit Singh. I apologize. I didn't even realize that.
Can I just address JK yesterday?
Yeah.
I just want to just explain to you the difference
Yeah.
between a Western civilized mind and a savage Muslim mind is very simple. He was given one opportunity and he took it straight away without even flinching about it. As soon as you took me off as a moderator, what did JK do? He couldn't help but use his power and ban people. See, this is the difference between a Muslim mind and a Western democratic mind. No matter what he's doing, a Muslim is never going to be a moderate person. He literally showed that he has to be a dictator. And bollocks, it was an accident. You know, fondle your
JK.
for an accident, bro. You don't fondle your first cousin for an accident. You disgusting little Muslim shit. You understand me?
Oh my God, poor little K. Poor little JK. But back to Beyond Atheism, that freaking, he's a nice guy. I'm gonna probably one day have a live chat with him. But him and his incestual cousin marriage, and he wants to F his cousins all the time. I mean, no wonder you can't have a wedding without separating the men and women if you're effing your cousins left, right, and center. Like, you know, in Sikh weddings, yeah, we dance with our cousin sisters. They try and chirps them. Like, what a sick thing. No wonder, like, when you go to a Sikh wedding, yeah, we can have a great time because we don't have cousin marriage, not even second, third. You go to a Muslim wedding, they're all freaking well frigid because they're all scared in case someone's gonna chirp their freaking cousin sisters and shit. Like, what a freaking crazy thing to be going on. You can't defend yourself, you nutcase. It's a sick thing. No, you can't be on atheism. It's like trying to defend shitting on the street. Yeah, like if you was in the 6th century, you might have defended it because there was no toilets. Now you're in the 21st century. You can't defend stuff like that. There's toilets everywhere. Same with you and your cousin marriage. You know, effing your cousins in the 600 years ago. Okay, fair enough. Now we're in the 21st century. Stop it.
You know the one that
let's go back to something else.
Eating, bruv, like eating with spoons and forks and knives. Like, I don't mean nasty. Like, please don't misunderstand me. I've gone down to some places and, bruv, come on, like, get your hands out the dish, bruv, man. You don't need to eat soup with your hands. You don't need to eat soup with your hands. You could eat it with a spoon.
Guys, shall we talk about the events of Speaker's Corner?
Let's get off this discussion. It is a bit related to Speaker's Corner because Beyond Atheism done my head in. Everywhere he went, he said, I want to F my cousin. I'll go to one conversation, he's talking about cousin. Go to another one, he's talking about cousin. Go to another one, he's talking about. Every time I see him now, all I see is him effing his cousins all day. Like, for God's sakes, Beyond Atheism, stop it. People used to freaking, like they used to use their hands to eat. They're using forks now. We're progressing. We're not freaking apes, man. Like, we're gonna go around effing everything. You know, have some decency, for God's sakes. Oh, sorry, Beyond Atheism. He's actually right. Go ahead, but
shall we start by something that I missed out on? I don't know too much about it. Apparently, Jedi and Amy, also known as Bacon Lady, had some interaction, and I believe Amy's upset. Right,
I've not watched the video. I am actually. I am human, you know.
No, but wait a minute. You're late to the conversation because you said you were having your meal. So why have you brought?
I was. Now what it is, I was eating a little bit, then I fell asleep for 10 minutes. Yeah, I was actually. Then I fell asleep. And then I woke up and I hadn't eaten properly, so I'm just eating at the same time. Sorry, guys. I do sleep as well.
It was doing it
over. I'm a vegetarian, you in that case.
But all right, so about black post boxes.
I'm not getting. Oh, so about that situation, yeah, I still am trying to find the video because, from my understanding, this is allegedly somebody told me that. And told you as well that Jedi said that something about her MS because she's got MS, so. Obviously she's disabled, so I need to see the video. If anyone can put a link into the video so I can watch it before I comment, because I don't like talking about things unless I have definitely heard it myself from a video or seen it. Otherwise it's more hearsay rather than obviously, you know, I need to do that before I start making allegations and stuff. So anyone's got the video of the supposed conversation with Jedi saying something to Amy about her MS, because she got multiple sclerosis. I'd like to watch it before I talk about it.
Okay, then let me direct the conversation next part then. So obviously the week before the Muslims were how can I say, they thought they were disrespected by Tan. This week the Hindus and the Sikhs were disrespected by Tan. So as a devoted Sikh, could you tell us how disrespected you were, and are you going to, pick up arms against Tan the Prophet?
I already have. I've gone there. He's in the boot of my car. He's been transported to some little lair where I'm gonna hang him up on a freaking I don't know, hang him up with some turban material just to teach him a lesson for mocking my freaking turban, mocking my turban. So yeah, I've dealt with him. So, huh? You know, my turban is made out of material that I buy in 5 meters. So he's hung up by 5 meters, yeah, from a 5 meter crane. And unless he apologizes, I'm freaking gonna let him suffocate. So
no, but he
Tan is gonna
called
be
it
dealt with.
Is what I was getting at. So were you offended?
Yeah, I was offended. So now I've got birds up his backside as well, just to teach him a freaking lesson. Pigeons and freaking crows are biting his ass. Obviously, I'm joking. No, I wasn't offended. It was just a stupid little thing. I actually thought he went really soft on seats, to be honest with you. I was expecting some real freaking savaging, but he actually said some good points. I mean, he said, you got a uniform. And yes, we do wear a uniform. I'm not obviously a devout Sikh. I want to be one day, hopefully, when I stop being a prick. Then I can be a Sikh. But I can't be both at the same time, unfortunately. So, and the thing is that he said at the end that, oh, you got a bird's nest. He could have called, Muslims have called me raghead, shit under my turban, X, Y, Z, yeah. And that is probably the most, what I call, polite thing someone's called my turban. A bird's nest. Bird's nest is actually quite...
Talk too much. Listen, did you find your rambling? Listen, what I was going to say, did you find the bit where he said, my favorite comment that he said about the Indians was that every time they get a bit of money, what they do is they just start making a musical video. I mean, that part was funny.
Yeah, but it's true. What he was trying to say is that when India has a problem, yeah, like, when they have a serious movie, it could be really serious, yeah, like about life and death. It could even be about a Holocaust or something, yeah. And all of a sudden, it could be a Holocaust, kind of like a genocide camp, and everyone's freaking dancing in the middle of it. It takes away from the film. It's complete garbage. I have to fast forward it. It's like, they have to get out of this musical genre, because they can't do. There's only 1 or 2 films I've seen when there's hardly any freaking dancing in it. So he had a valid point. Also, the call centers are freaking terrible. I had to call somewhere in the call center. I felt like I was being tortured by Hatton. It was fucking annoying. Like I felt like shouting at me, saying, "You stupid Indian, give me someone else." That's not being racist, but it's annoying. So yeah, he had some good points, man. I'm down to Pakistan, that got a dwelling country with a cricketer and his freaking prime minister.
No, he called a snake.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Nice snake. Is that all you can say about him? I can say like 1,000,000 times worse.
What about you, Hassan? What were your thoughts about the general speech and what have you?
To be honest with you, I found that to be Tan at his mildest. I mean, absolutely. I don't think he said anything that was untrue. It was criticizing in a very positive manner that people just need to wake up and get doing things. I mean, you made a wonderful point about the DFLA and the FLA. Guys, we get it. Marching and showing your support for something is one thing, but then going out to the pub and spending 60 quid when you could have put 20 quid in the pot, and you could have actually legislated a law that could combat this, is ridiculous. You understand me? Like sometimes our actions are irresponsible, to say the least. There's things that this country really needs to get a grip on. And, as much as I agree in petitions and demonstrating and making your voice heard, it comes nowhere close as in the laws that are needed to be passed for things like this not to happen. And that's where we're failing. Like, we are really failing on that. And That's what we need to sort out. I mean, Tan is just a beautiful example of this. He stands there and he shouts like I mean, if you just read into what his message is, he's saying that, look, you're allowing yourself to get butt fucked, understand me, and then complaining about it. You know, do one or the either. Either get butt fucked and shut your mouth and enjoy it, or don't and change things. You know, it's as simple as that. I mean, I don't see anything controversial in regards to that. And what he said about Turkey.
See, the thing that I found controversial with the speech, that he used very precise terminology, such as "Brave New World," which is a very, how could I say, don't like using the word Illuminati, but I can't really think of a better term. But if you have a look at George, what was George Bush's father's name? George, not
George was Bush Senior.
Yes, well, Senior, yeah. So he was the chap that first stated the words "a brave new world." It's a very famous speech, and he's supposedly introducing a whole new system, and I didn't like that. So it's almost as if there was some synergy with that type of working with it. I'm not saying that Tan is, you know, working with, you know, blah blah blah, but it was a very strange thing to say, especially the precise words "brave new world."
Well, it is a brave new world. That's what we're going to go into, as in the case of action, rather than just talking about it all day, because that's what we're always doing now. I mean, Speaker's Corner is the most prime example. You go there, week in, week out, it's the same discussions over and over again. Sarah said it perfectly. It's like fucking walking into the Twilight Zone. It's the same shit, the same arguments that get disputed hundreds of times over, and the same person that lost the week before is there again talking shit again. Like, you know, there's a point where you got to say, you know what, fuck this. You guys are talking crap, and basically that's it. Like, they should have a talkers craps section of Speaker's Corner where Muslims could just go there, and all the idiots that want to listen to that shit could just go there and listen to it. Understand me? But when you see people in there and they're gullible enough to believe this shit. I mean, I think yesterday I saw a gay guy getting softly spoken by one of the Dawah team that it's a good thing. I'm like, you sit there and you're like, bruv, like, do you realize that they don't give a shit about you? You know, like, are you seriously beyond it? It's just mad. It's like, give me some more rope so I can hang myself. It really is. It really is.
Can I say something? I know I'm going backwards again, but you know, when I read something, it does annoy me. Beyond atheism, don't make me your enemy on cousin marriage, because I'm going to destroy you. You saying now that I'm going to make a video, cousin marriage versus race mixing. Race mixing hasn't got nothing to do with cousin marriaging. The fact is, the reason why cousin marriage is a problem because people are genetically too close. In fact, marrying someone from a different race is probably better because you're mixing different genes. So your argument's going to be, in my opinion, redundant anyway. Anyway, who gives a shit? People can mix with whatever race they want. But when you're effing your cousin and turning into rats, yeah, in your own country in show dollar, God is telling you something, for God's sake. Stop it. You know? Oh my God. I can't even believe I'm having this conversation with that guy because he's quite intelligent. But he's freaking obsessed with effing his cousins all day. God knows what he does at a family reunion. You know, we do a family reunion and we're just eating and stuff and having a chat. He's probably trying to freaking chirp them and jump on them. Stop it. No wonder you can't have a freaking normal grown-up communication with women if everyone in your family is available for effing apart from your mum and your sister. How can you have a good family relationship? I used to stay around my cousins the whole night by myself with my cousin sisters. I never thought about freaking jumping on there. That's my cousin.
That's the difference, bro.
Oh that's God, the difference. No wonder they're so messed in the head.
That's the difference, because when they go to their cousins, they've never seen a woman before. So when they see a cousin when they see a cousin and there's a little bit of skirt showing, they
Oh
just
my
get aroused. They
God.
just want to pound their cousin away. Do you understand
Oh my
me?
God, that's why they're grooming everywhere, man. Because if they see their cousins as meat as well, yeah, and they can't touch them, they must be frothing at the mouth like freaking savages, like a rabid dog. Every time they go to a family reunion, oh my cousin sister, ooh, they can't do nothing, so they go out and they freaking start grooming. You
You
freaking
hear what
nut
Beyond
people.
Atheism said? It's because your cousins are ugly. Oh
Oh my, who
man,
cares? I've never even looked at him that way. Who cares? You sick little shit. Oh my God. So
sicko.
you would, when you get married and you have kids, you want your kids to marry your sister's kids, and all of them are going to turn into giant rat people when they're older. I hope they grow a freaking towel as well, so I can prove my point that it's completely retarded. Oh, let's get off this disgusting topic, man. Every time I talk about it, I can't even talk to Beyond Atheism anymore. All I see him is jumping on his cousins all day and freaking trying to F his cousins and turning it around. Oh my God, leave me alone. Beyond that, let's not talk about this subject matter because I'm gonna rip you to shreds, man. Let me just say it to you again. If you try and bring that bullshit argument about mixed race marriages and cousin marriages, yeah, you are a lunatic. Because the whole point about cousin marriages is that you're too genetically close, which is causing problems. When you're marrying a different race, you're actually very separate in terms of genes, and so it's probably more beneficial. That's what I understand about genes and stuff. So if I'm wrong, someone tell me. And even if there was nothing to do with genes, like I said to you before, people used to do stupid things all the time, chuck their freaking selves on fires, yeah, when their husband died, shit on the street. God knows what else they used to do. Like think the moon was freaking some kind of a god. Yeah, they stopped doing it now. So stop the stupid cousin marriaging. Oh my God, let's get
Did
off
you
that
hear
rant.
about the ones that actually think that the moon actually sunsets into some murky, muddy water? There's some of those people that still think that. No, to be honest with you.
No, you're
Crazy.
right. It's good for genes. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Yes, so someone, yeah, stealing shoes at weddings. Did you know that, Hassan? At
Yeah.
Indian weddings, yeah, at Sikh
Mm.
weddings, the shoes, the little freaking little women, yeah, silly women, steal your shoes at the end of the wedding, causing you complete mayhem for like an hour. When you got a busy day, man, like the last thing you want to do is to figure out who's stolen your shoes. Can you believe that? Let's get that stupid thing stopped, man, because I'm never getting married if that's still the case.
You know the weird thing is, you know, in mosques, that I'm not joking. If anyone wants to take a consensus, that they nick their shoes as well in mosques. I mean,
No,
basically, in their
I'm not
religious
talking
stuff.
about. No, I'm not
In
talking
mosques,
about it
they
like
do
that.
this.
I know if they do that, but I'm talking
It's
about as
bad.
part of the tradition. No, as part of a tradition, they steal your shoes. It's like a joke, but it's not a
Yeah.
joke anymore because I'm very serious about my shoes. I'm very fussy, so if my shoes suddenly disappear, I'm gonna be furious, man. Like I can't wear anything apart from was it Reebok Classics trainers, and my shoes are particular style. And if they stole them and gave me some random shoes, I'd be freaking furious. Let's get off that topic now. I don't know why we've suddenly gone on. Somebody asked that question, obviously. Let's go back onto Speaker's Corner then.
Right.
Beyond atheism, you said something that's not related to effing your cousins, thank God. Yeah, and they ask for money, the greedy little cows. Did you know that, Hassan? When you go back to the house of the girl, there's like 10 women standing at the door begging for money, like freaking, like there's on the street, like some tramps, like asking for money. They want to let you in like a jizya tax almost, like protection racket. You can't
I
get
reckon,
a daughter or sister until you pay us the jizya.
I reckon what
Crazy,
they
man.
should do is just jizya all over the women's faces and then just go
Yeah.
back in, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm just gonna barge in the house, like start pushing everyone, and say, "Get out of my way, stupid woman! Like, give me my freaking wife," and just drag her out. That's someone said first cousins are hot. Oh no, Mr. Potter jetted off. Mr. Tatikana Wala is on the thing. You know, Tatikana Wala means you eating shit. So I like it. All right, so let's go back to something a bit more serious. Let's get back to serious stuff. I know I always bring the chat to like into the gutter. Yeah, poor Manny, his channel's so intellectual, and then I turn up and it goes into the gutter straight away. Let's get back to
It's the
something
shit,
serious.
innit?
Yeah, go back to the serious bit. No, you go back onto your topic then, because I'm gonna be
So what about the start of the day, and we had the American, what's the nicest way I can put this? The American libtard, is that right? No, maybe that's too good.
I wouldn't say he's a libtard, because I don't think you can be a liberal and be a Muslim. I think he's more just a dipshit. We'll
Yeah,
just call him.
I'll go with that. Dipshit's a good word. Yeah.
He's a very annoying man. Well done, Manny, for savaging him. This is the Punjabi shade within all the Punjabi Sikhs. Did you see how he's suddenly gone from mild-mannered Manny Sinder to some freaking ferocious, let's just say, Punjabi shade within a minute, man? It was like 0 to 100. So yeah, well done, Manny, for going for that guy. I want to see more of that though, because I enjoyed watching you.
May I add something as well, please?
Yeah.
There's a guy in there that's basically asking, does your family, what was it? This one guy, Mo. Oh, anyway, I can't be bothered with him. I couldn't give a shit. I hate anyone that's Muslim, to be honest with you.
Oh my God.
I'm not. You know what? I've had enough of it, to be honest with you. That they're all the same part of the problem. It's all talk. You know, they've been promising for years. They ain't gonna sort shit out, mate. You know that. You'd have been able to sort. If you were gonna be able to sort it, you'd have sorted that out years ago, mate.
Let's forget that. Let's forget that dipshit for a minute. Can I just say to everybody, there's 223 people watching and only 29 likes. If you don't start freaking liking this, I'm going to talk about dipshit, jizzying, and non-stop for like a freaking hour. So start hitting that freaking like button, yeah? For God's sakes, man, there's only like 20. What's wrong with you? Have you got no fingers? Can't you do two things at once? Hit the like button and watch at the same time. It's not even going up. Let's not talk anymore. Get that up to a freaking 100 now, yeah? Then we'll start chatting again. 39, great. Come on, up it goes. This ain't Sharia, man. You can do it if you want. We're not going to force you to do it, but we may chop your heads off if you don't do it. Get to 100 in a minute.
And to the guy that's talking about Modine, can I just address this first, yeah, please? Because a lot of people think this Modine is this really passive, lovely, moderate Muslim. No, he's not. He's a wife-beating, alcoholic wanker that's got that virus. Shut up, Raj.
I'm not saying nothing.
Okay, and you know what? He goes on like he's this really pious guy. You know what? If you go down there, the guy's married. He's literally chatting up women. You understand me? Now, I'm sorry, but last time I remember, you got to be a little bit modest and not look women in the eye and all that bullshit. You understand me? So, you know, he's just a hypocrite. He's just a hypocrite. You know, he's just a hypocrite. And I think there's a lot of people. And he keeps coming up to people. Like we were telling Modine, look, Mo, we're going to start at 4 o'clock. He's going to make his little speech. And then we'll open it up to questions. Now, when you tell someone this, and they come to you at 4 o'clock and then try to invade your space and try to talk over you and try to narrate, it just goes to show you that their mindset is, and they're hypocrites. They just are hypocrites. Because when you go up to them and you try to invade their space, that they get angry that you're there, let alone talking. And we've seen this in so many cases. I mean, Raj just going up to Tawheed. No, I'm not going to be in your video. I'm not going to be in your video. He's not even said anything, and he's already going off on one. Understand me? And then they wonder why we get pissed off when, like, the guy's been quiet the whole day. He's avoided them the whole day, and then when it comes down to his speech, he's there. So what's the purpose? What is the purpose? Understand me? And then he wants to start fighting. I've offered Modine. I said, yeah, look, Mo, if me and you want to go out, just sign up a little contract and I'll knock 10 bells out of you. I'll make you look like fucking mincemeat, you cunt. Silly bastard.
Can we get Go Live Media on in a bit? Can we get Go Live and JK on there? I don't know if JK's and Go Live Media. You want to come on later?
Fuck JK.
Tell us yes or no. Should we get them on there? We need some Muslim voices on there. Obviously, we need the Muslims on there because all we do is talk about Muslims all day. At least don't let them have a freaking say, for God's sakes. Tell us if you want to come on in a little bit.
My live media does.
All right, we'll get him on in a bit. Wait until, because no offense, Go Live media, you're a little bit kind of hard to control. So let us talk first. Yeah. JK, I'm
Open
gonna
it
warn
up,
you.
man, right? Don't be like that, man. Open it up,
All
Manny.
right, come on then. Oh, JK, Hassan wants to grab you and freaking eat you like a little kebab today. You know, he's Turkish, obviously, so I had to say the word kebab. No offense.
I love you, but there's no offense in that.
What was I gonna say? I'm just looking through the comment. Oh yeah, can we talk about that message? I still can't. I still like. No offense, Mr. Rax. Like all day you film in landscape, but for some reason you filmed on portrait, so you couldn't get the whole message in one go. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why you did that. Why not just zoom back and record it from a slight distance?
Jedi. For what? Why would you want to
mad?
Aspect or Jedi? Fuck me. Yeah, let's get a couple of ratings on the show.
I'm actually just giving up on those two anyway. So
power. And when it comes down to doing anything, the only thing they want to do is fucking pat each other on the back and stroke each other's cocks, mate. That's all they want to do, Respect and Jedi, mate. I swear to God, I see it time and time again. And the whole crew of them as well. I swear to God, you know what? If they spent just a $5 each and put a $5 aside and put it into a kitty, you know what? By now, they could have had maybe their third or fourth freehold building, and they could have been making money. But instead, you know what they'd rather do is fucking pat each other on the back, tell him that, yeah, you know what, brother, you're suffering. You know what, brother, you're suffering. You know what, you're suffering. Yeah, and you'll keep suffering if you keep talking about it. Understand me? Turn it around, move fucking forward, man.
before the Pakistanis come on, I actually think he's Bengali. Before we start talking about Speaker's Corner, what do you think of that cricketer? His first thing he's going to tell you, just become prime minister. Now his country's complete garbage. Yeah, Pakistan is complete garbage. It's like the toilet of the world. Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's like the turd of the world is here. What he's doing is that instead of fixing his people from turning into rats in Shodollah, instead of trying to sort peace out with India, instead of trying to improve the economy, instead of him trying to improve like people getting blown up, what does he do? Guess what he's done? Guess what he's going to do at the United Nations? He's going to go to the United Nations, yeah, and everybody that's gone there before has talked about amazing things, yeah, about world peace, about communism, about this, about how to create wealth. And what does he want to talk about? A cartoon.
But you have to remember that Pakistan is in such a state that it's really the higher end religious people that truly run the country. So what I mean by that is, just like we have big donors giving large amount of money to the political parties and campaigns in this country, you know, poverty in Pakistan is so alarming that the religious institutions often bring up children because
go live media's in the house, so we'll get him in a minute. But I'm just saying to you that when your first speech at the UN, you want to make an impact about your agenda for your country, what's important to your country, and what he's going to talk about is probably how to play cricket.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point.
Talking about blasphemy.
You're missing the point, Raj. What I'm saying is, whoever donates to you is basically who you're working for. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I understand that. So I fully understand that. But that just shows you why Pakistan's a turd of a country. Yeah, it's like the bastard child that's got no brain and a retard of the world, and it will keep on being. It will keep on being that. It will keep on being that.
Of a retarded child.
No, I said it's. I said it was like, you know, when you got poo and then you have the poo, it's actually the last drop, the last bit of turd that comes out. Yeah, is Pakistan that's left, and that's the worst part of it. And the thing is, obviously, I want to get banned from Pakistan, which is why I'm being Pakistan bashing. But it's true though. If your freaking Imran Khan goes to United Nations, start talking about that bullshit blasphemies, all that's going to happen, the rest of the world is going to understand that your country is a piece of turd. Oh, look, that peak beyond atheism. He said Pakistan is better than India. Dude, you nutcase, your economy's in the shit. It's in the shit. Yeah, I can't believe you've even got nuclear weapons, for God's sakes. You got rat people freaking arming, looking after the country. Yeah, let's go back to thingy. All right, so beyond the Go Live Media's on it, man. What do you want to say, bro?
Well, when you're talking about Pakistan, I don't hate them as much as you do, but as a Bangladeshi, I don't really trust Pakistanis. If anybody knows anything about the 1972 wars, it was actually the Pakistanis that done a full-scale genocide on the Bangladeshis, and it was India who came in and protected. Ironically, it was the Hindus that came in and protected the Bangladeshis from being massacred and helped them fight for their help them fight for their independence. So we've always had a thing where we feel as though the Pakistanis look down on us. And we haven't really got over the wounds of 1972, but that's more for my dad. I'm not really bothered in it, really.
No, but it's true. It's true. Like I said, when I used to go to school, the way it was a majority Pakistani school, one of my best mates was Bengali. The way they used to cuss each other, would say you're a Bengali, and there was always this superiority against. And I've still seen it. Even one of my best mates around 10 years ago was Bengali.
You still get it now, yeah.
Yeah, so there is this, and I think Pakistanis are like that with everybody, including Sikhs, including Indians, including Bangladeshis. Obviously, with the Sikhs, they can't be so much because we're going to kick their ass.
Well, let's say in South Asia, we've got a bit of a system, haven't we? If we be totally honest, it's like the Indians look down on the Pakistanis look down on the Bengalis, and we all bloody hate each other. That's the truth of the matter, really.
Yeah. Well, is JK the moderate Muslim? Because we know you're the extremist.
Fucking first cousin.
we've got Go Live Media, who's the extremist, the truthful extremist, and then we need the moderate, so we can have a balanced view. How did you think things went on Sunday about 10?
Oh, there is so many mental cases in that park. They must only get let out on the bloody weekends, man.
Anyone in particular?
I think Tan shot himself in the foot, really. He went a bit far with the racist slurs, and he kind of excommunicated the DFLA, and he basically cursed out everyone. But I think I know where he's coming from. If you look at the history of Speaker's Corner, it is about being able to say whatever you want. And that was the point he was trying to prove. But I think he shot himself in the foot in regards to affiliations. Also, saying the N-word that many times, I don't think Gang, Jedi, and all them lot are going to allow that. And he's going to get in trouble by the police now.
The police were there, remember? Standing.
Yeah, but you know how it works with these guys. They're going to wait till someone makes a complaint. Yeah, of course the police were there. Yeah.
They were there. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I know. There was quite a big police presence.
In hearing distance.
And they were fine.
Country, and you know the people in this country, I've got an obligation to make arrests. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Can I ask you a question?
So why do you think...
Can I ask you a question? Ask that question first and answer this afterwards. How did it feel to have Tan bashing everybody for the first time and not Muslims not really being that involved? Did it feel quite nice to listen to him? Did you have a different kind of take on these? Because like when someone's talking about you and your faith,
I know what you mean. Yeah, in his speech, he didn't actually curse out the Muslims for once. So
how did that resonate with you then? So did you see it in a kind of a more of a let's say unbiased view now? And
to be honest, mate, I just thought he's not psychologically right. Like, put free speech aside. Come on, half of the things he was coming out with was like irrational mumbo jumbo you would hear from a nutcase that hasn't had his meds. And really. You could see it. Well, think about it. You could see all you guys sitting in the background, and I could see it in your expressions. Like, what the hell is he saying? Do you know what I mean? Like, certain times you just trail off. Like, you just didn't get it, and I don't think much people got it either.
No, I'll be honest with you. When I was there, when I was listening, I thought I even said to Hassan, I think I agreed with like 90%. I didn't agree with the delivery sometimes. If you listen to what you were saying about
I'm talking about the tangoism, religion, crazy mumbo jumbo spaceship idiotness he was coming out with.
He didn't really cut. If you listen to what he said, he was talking about world politics. he spoke about India and how much of a
Yeah, I
garbage
know.
place it was.
India, yeah, Malaysia,
And in
and
terms of that, I agree with that. In terms of like what you said about the DFLA trouncing or kind of like backstabbing Lucy, I kind of agreed with that. And a lot of stuff he was saying was relatively sane, but because of the way he's delivering it, it looked a bit crazy.
but that stuff he said about black people, man, he's gonna get it in the neck for that. He's gonna get it for that. If you know black people like I know black people, it doesn't matter what context you say that stuff in.
about black people, bro? Because coming on here and saying he said something bad about black people, you might as well just said that he did say it. What did he
I
say?
find that what he said about black people
No, not fine.
in
What did he
context
say?
in context to everything else, you know, saying the N word and then saying no one else can say the N word when you say it yourself.
No, that's
Then
bullshit. You
but
are
that, it
allowed
was
to
just
say
one
the
bit,
N-word in context.
and then he said black lives don't matter. Now that will create a huge uproar.
Why? It's been known to be a bullshit organisation anyway. It's been known to be a bullshit
black
organisation.
might not take it as he said it about the organisation.
You do know that, don't you? You do know that, don't you?
What say the beginning bit again?
What are Black Lives Matter? You know the amount of revenue that they've accumulated. What have they done with it? What have they done with it?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of politics involved. They've killed lots of people. They've rioted. There's even been Black Panther terrorism involved. But what I'm trying to say is, from a black person's point of view, they're not going to really see it as he was just talking about the organization Black Lives Matter. They're going to take it as they're going to think about all the stabbings that have happened in London, all the police brutality towards black people in America, and they're just going to see it as once again black people being attacked. Or they could just see it as he's just a madman, and no one's going to listen to him. So hopefully you might get lucky in that sense. But boy, when gang and that get hold of him.
Can I say something? I think if you took the N word out and just listen to what he said, some of it made a lot of sense. In like what he was saying about the N word wasn't that he agreed with using it. He was saying that when people are using it in raps, people are using it to greet each other and X, Y, and Z. I think it's a stupid thing here, and he was trying to show the idiocy, how idiotic it was to have a word which is so repulsive being used so in the mainstream, and then people like condemning you for using it. But it's all over the place. Like black people call each other the N word. You have it on rap songs. So when you listen to what he was saying, it wasn't done. It was done like a sledgehammer, and it was done in the most what I call offensive way, but it doesn't mean that what he was saying was totally wrong.
Do you think Jedi's going to see it that way?
No, they're not. They're not. And in a way, if I'm being honest with you, I don't blame them, because when they're going to listen to it, they're just going to hear the N word, N word, N word, N word.
And they're going to go nuts.
Yeah, they're going to go nuts. And I mean, when you say it like 100 times, this is why sometimes I think Tan, as much as I respect him and stuff, I like him, he will, in that sense, I think he shot himself in the foot, because he could have said it 2 or 3 times and it would have been much more, it would have resonated more, and he could have still said his message. Instead, he said it like 50 times. And I think all that's happened now is that's taken away from what he was actually trying to say.
Yeah, so he's basically he's created a bigger enemy for himself now. That's the thing. And when it comes to black people, you see the Muslims, they'll be very careful about attacking someone because they don't want to get arrested and whatnot. When it comes to black people, they're not going to care about the police. They're just going to sock him, mate. So normally he's got a crowd of Muslims around him. Now he's going to have a crowd of black people around him, and it's going to be a bit more dangerous for him now.
What? So are you saying that black people are dangerous now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying the Muslims in the park usually tend to, stay within the law so they don't get in trouble.
Do they?
Whereas, well, you know what I mean. Like,
no, I don't.
Really, he would have got attacked already. So far, he hasn't been attacked. Maybe apart from an kick in the leg.
Can I just say
kick in the leg or something?
There was a group of British black lads that had heard it and did become hostile, but the regular British black chaps that go to Speaker's Corner kind of told them, look, this is to be expected from him, and so they all kind of watered away. their aggression. So if something was going to happen in regards to the N word, then that would have been the time, I think.
Well, give it time. Let the ripple effect of the online media and the YouTube get out, and then you'll see. So hopefully not. You know, end of the day, we don't want anyone getting hurt. That's the bottom line, anyway. Because you know, any decent human being isn't going to want to beat someone up. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what
Sure.
you just did.
Hey,
That is
you
what
see how
you just did. You know that.
Mr. Rax is in the thingy. COE, where's COE? Is COE in the thingy? I don't know if he is. Let's have a look. I can't see it. COE's in there. Ha 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 ha. All
Hello,
right.
COE.
Let's talk about COE for COE. You're going to get it for a minute. Let's talk about COE for a minute. I think he made a wise. I was thinking about why did COE not record Pan's video? And then I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, okay, he's somebody that doesn't want to edit. He's someone that doesn't want. He didn't film
COE
it.
in the park on Sunday though? I didn't see anything come out from. I didn't see anything come out of COE on Sunday.
Yeah, but he didn't film Tan's thingy, and I think obviously he would have been put in a predicament if he filmed him and then he said N, and then he puts it up on his channel. It would have gave him a massive backlash from his black brothers. So
kebab,
he made it. I think he made a calculated decision, which I mean, whether I agree with it or not.
He's just posted down there. He's got the video coming out soon.
Is he? But he wasn't there. Who was filming for you? He wasn't there though. He was filming for him. I'm talking about the thingy from COE. Who was filming for him? Yeah,
Me.
TNT Greeks in the house as well. You was filming for him.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Sikh. You're not allowed to. Any Sikhs in the park here. You cannot film for COE. He's got enough black brothers around there, for God's sakes. I've got hardly any Sikhs, so I use the Sikhs filming.
I'm only joking.
COE, stop taking them. I know, but he did it last time to me. He did it last time. He took the only Sikh in the park on that day, made him record for him for 30 minutes, and I needed him. Can you tell me whether you have Tan's speech coming out on your channel? Because I don't know if it is. I'll be interested to know.
He just said he's got the video loading.
Oh, it's got it loaded. All right.
No, he said it's loading. It's coming.
All right. I think someone said give Moses. Oh, look who's in the house.
Moses in the house.
Shall we get Rajiv on there? Black cat guy. What do you think? Shall we get him on there?
Yeah, why not get Rajiv on?
Rajiv, do you want to jump on? We'll give you a chance, man. Let's get your view on this situation because there is a lot of stuff about. Oh, ask him. Where is he? Where's Black Cat guy?
Right.
Get him on there. Yeah. Do you want to get him on there? Tell us. What's your consensus, Manny and Hassan? Would you want him on there?
What, Rajiv?
Yeah.
I suppose a good case of the cat won't hurt us. Go for it, man.
Yeah, it'd be good. We need a black person on it, obviously. So we've got Token Black now. We'll get Token Black Rajiv on there if he wants to get on there. Moses, come on, dude. I've already spoken to Moses. And let's get a Token Black on here. Anyone will do, but Rajiv's in the house.
Raj. That's really fucking racist, you know. Stop saying that. It's really racist.
Yeah, but we need at least one black person if we're talking about black people.
Don't say that, please. It's really awkward hearing it, bro.
That's why I say it, Hassan.
Can't we get COE on? Can we get Leon on here?
No, we can't have two black people at the same time on the channel. I'm only joking.
No, what I mean is, can we not get Leon here?
All right, so Rajiv has refused the thingy, so we'll let him off today. Maybe we'll get him on next time. He is actually quite interesting to talk to, very controversial. So I don't mind controversial people, so we can have a chat. Any other black people in there that want to jump on and give their points of view? Betty Closet. If Betty Closet jumps on, we'll get Betty Closet on. Because I want
to go to Betty Closet initially because I've watched one of her streams and she seems to assume that I interrupted her intentionally. I really didn't. So I'm really sorry.
Hey. Yeah. Don't worry. We'll talk about it.
Rad, stop interrupting Hassan every time he speaks.
I know. But I'm sorry. I know it's a very bad habit of mine. I'll try. But when I read something and it's very important, like content over everything has said he'll only come on if academic screeching does.
Who's academic
who's that?
screeching?
He's one of the regulators. So academic screeching, you're gonna have to come on now. We need COE on it.
Yeah, but who is
Yeah, I
academic
know.
screeching?
Oh, he's
Who
one
is
of the regular guys that comments on all our stuff, and even on Rob's. Everyone's saying Manny's about to roast. I'm kind of scared of Manny now. Since I saw your kind of vicious side, I'm actually quite scared of
you haven't even seen Gear 3. You only saw Gear 2.
Yeah, you're one of those people that is very calm person, but when you lose it, I can tell you probably start killing people or something.
Oi.
Not literally, but
Shut up, Raj.
metaphorically.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Listen, you see, you know the black cat guy, Reggie?
Mm.
He went on to LBC. You guys got to seriously watch it. He looked like a fucking idiot. Well done, Rajiv. Once again, you mastered the art of looking like a cunt. Well done. Genuinely.
What did he talk about? What did he talk about?
Seriously, you just got to watch it for yourself. He went on to the LBC show with that fake-ass Muslim geezer.
I didn't know.
That's the fella. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And God, Jesus Christ, he got annihilated. He looked like a complete and utter dipshit.
Yeah, well, I think Majid Nawaz just trapped him in it. He done the usual stuff. It's my show. If you're not going to answer the questions, I'm running the show. And then he just cut him off. So it wasn't that bad. So I don't know how he made a monkey out of himself.
See?
What was
But that's how the show is. You go in there to answer questions. You don't go in there to do your public plug. See, that's the problem that people are having to understand. If you pay hundreds of thousands of pounds for actors and millions
guys.
Someone goes
there's a message on the Hangout saying Hassan blocked me, so I can't get on the chat. It's a picture with a bunch of books in it. Is that Rajiv?
No, JK.
No.
Oh yeah, JK saying he can't get on because Hassan's blocked me, so he can't get on.
What? That can't be. He can't block. You can't block him.
I timed him out. That's what I did.
You timed that JK?
Yeah.
You serious?
He doesn't even like the chocolate Muslims.
You think I'm not a spiteful bastard? He did that to me yesterday and come out with it was a joke. Oh, you know what? I didn't mean it. What I'm saying is, no, I meant it, and that's the reason why I done it.
Yeah. That's why you're hated so much.
Fake Muslim, honest atheist. Fake Muslim, honest atheist. Fake Muslim, honest atheist. And then we get judged badly. Well, there you go.
You said that Go Live Media is a fake Muslim.
Look, don't put this into your sister. All right? Okay, I get the family thing is a real thing in your religion, but don't put that in your sister.
Yeah, but is Go Live Media a fake Muslim or a true Muslim?
What do you think?
Myself.
Yeah.
I think you can both be true Muslims, but I would prefer you to be more moderate, if I'm being honest with you, but I can't say that you're not a Muslim because that's not for me to say. In
what sense do you think I'm not moderate?
Obviously, you said if we go to war, you're going to chop my head off or make me convert.
No, I never said that. I said, well, once again, I'm not like I'm not like a proper expert in Islam, yeah? But what I do know is in the end of day prophecies where we believe Jesus will come back, it actually goes even further, yeah? So in your view, I might even get even more extreme. When Jesus comes back and... No, we don't do that. No, we wouldn't do that. Nothing homosexual, yeah? But yeah, well, basically, when Jesus comes back, conquers the one-eyed beast, kills all the Jews and that, yeah? No, but I forgot to say this bit. He's going to lift the jizya. So there isn't even going to be jizya for Jews and Christians at all. It's just going to be accept Islam or bye-bye.
How do you find a rape guide in a religious section of life? Fucking unreal. A rape guide. How to rape your servants.
There isn't rape. That's the thing. So I know you guys like to take the verses out of the Quran and say, the right hand possess.
No, mate. What you sound is deluded, brother. That's what you sound like. You sound like because it's not there. It's there. Own it. You're telling me that there's no verses in there and passages on how to rape your hostages. Is that what you're telling me now?
Yes, I
Is that
am.
what you're telling me now?
Yes, I am. So
Yeah,
if you allow me to speak,
you're delusional then.
if you allow me to speak, if I'm not allowed in a room, yeah, with even my brother's wife under Sharia law, why would I be allowed to rape someone? No, slaves have rights, and slaves
That's not how that
1500
works.
years ago
That's not
is
how
a
that
totally
works.
different
You're not
thing.
walking into your wife's bed, your brother's wife's bedroom, are you, brother? This is what you consider
You're
this
not
as
allowed to
your
rape anyone,
property.
mate. Yeah,
Your
Hey,
and
brother,
under
VD Vids in
Islam,
the,
your brother's wife,
sorry,
not
dude.
your
VD
property,
Vids in
bro.
the house. Hold on. VD Vids, do you want to come on? VD Vids in the house. Big him up. Let's see if he can come on.
but yeah, you lot got this misconception about we're allowed to rape people. You're not allowed to rape anyone. Period.
Oh man, shut up.
Look, okay, when
Oh, well,
the
that lie's
Quran
been
talks
busted so
about
many times. You know that lie's been busted so many
Hassan,
times, bro.
you
You don't
can't
even bother
just
using it no more.
if you're going to speak to me about a subject, yeah, you're going to have to at least allow me to speak instead of
Yeah,
speaking for me, because
no, I'm
otherwise,
not
what's the point?
saying don't speak, but
What
don't
I'm
tell me
saying
to
is,
shut up in
when
sense and allow your lies to continue. I'm not.
it's not a lie.
I'm not. It is a lie what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, when the
You don't know the
Quran
passage.
speaks
You don't
about,
know the passage,
look,
mate.
look.
You don't know the passage.
Sorry, quick. Sorry. Hassan, 1 second. Manny Sinder, can you send a link to VD Vids?
There you go. Look, the guy's got it.
VD
Look,
Vids.
Quran 4:24, mate.
He wants to
Yeah, you're
come
not
on.
letting
That's
me
what it
say it.
is.
I'll address
Just
the
read
verse.
that.
When it's talking about
Right, but
sleeping with your right
don't
hand
tell me I'm
possessed,
lying, bro. I
when
can't
it's
stand when
talking,
people are, you're
oh,
lying. You're a crackhead.
you're so irrational, man. You're not even letting me
No,
speak.
you're just
Let
so
him speak,
blinded,
Hassan.
bro.
Let him speak.
You're so
Let him
blinded.
speak. Yeah, let him speak.
So,
Let him speak.
when the Quran is talking about sleeping with your right hand possessed and going to bed with your right hand possessed, it's talking about consensually. If your slave wants to sleep with you, you can sleep with them. It's not saying rape them.
Oh, so what does sleeping mean, bro?
Having sex.
What does
If you
sleeping
ever had sex.
unconsented mean? What does sleeping with an unconsented person mean then, bro?
I never said unconsenting. I said consensual.
It's not. No, it's not consensual. When you grab up a woman, okay, and you take her into a bed and you sleep with her, is that consensual? Maybe
So
we need to go
where
to the
did the Quran
details
tell you
and
to
see
do that? Where did the
what
Quran or the
you think.
Prophet tell you to grab up a woman and take her to bed?
Can I
Total
just
straw man.
can I just say my piece?
The guy just gave you the quote.
Can I just say something? All right. This is what I'm going to say to you. If anybody here is captured under duress, when your people are being massacred, your husband, your children,
Yeah.
and then you're captured, you are under duress. Any particular decision you make from that point will not be consenting because you're not mentally sound. Yeah. So I will give you. I'll give you a question. You answer honestly. If we go to war, yeah, we kill you, yeah, and you have children, you have a wife and your mother and your sisters, and I take them, am I allowed to do whatever I want to them, including having sex slavery? So
No.
why do you think it's fair to do it the other way around?
It's about when you capture someone
No.
and they want it. Look,
Hold on.
the context is all right. I get what you're saying.
No, I'm asking you a question. Would you allow that to your own daughters, your mother, and your sister? If it's a no, then you know what you're doing is wrong. And can I ask James Speaker's Corner if he wants to come on, please?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, in
No,
a
what you're
war
trying to say
situation,
is
let's say there was a war and I was conquered and my family was taken and I got killed, I don't really have a say in the matter. First of all,
all right. It's not about whether you have to
second
say.
of all, what I'm trying to say is,
I'm asking you a moral question. Would you like it to happen?
Obviously not.
All right. So why would it be okay for it to happen to us?
I'm not saying it's okay for it.
No. You're justifying it. You're saying that the person going into you're saying the person in that relationship who's been captured it's a consensual relationship. When you have been captured, think about your mother. She's been captured, and then you have been killed. Your dad killed. Hold on. You let me talk. Then you are in a position of no power. What would then happen is that person is not mentally consenting, because whatever they do from that point on is from a place of subjugation. Can you not see that?
Yeah, the way you're approaching the whole situation is if though anyone who gets captured gets slept with. Was never about that. So there was hadith in the Prophet's time where the companions went up to the Prophet and said, some of these women were still married when their husbands were killed. We don't feel comfortable in sleeping with them, yeah? Meaning that the women wanted to sleep with them. That's what we were talking about. It wasn't about we don't feel comfortable raping them.
Go live media. Oh, go live media. Let me ask you a question again. And I'm going to put this so that you can empathize more. I'm going to say this is your sister. Your sister, say there's a war now, yeah? Your sister.
Yes, of course, I wouldn't want my sister to be raped. I got that bit.
Hold on, it's not about rape. I'm talking about you are saying that if I captured her, say somebody captured her, yeah, killed you, killed your dad, killed her, she had no male relatives left. They then said to her, you have the choice to be a sex slave, or you have a choice to be a slave. Do you think she can have any sort of what I say rational thought on that after being through such a traumatic experience and she's all alone? Do you think that's then consenting, or do you think she's under mental duress?
Well, if you're going by today's rules and regulations,
no. Any rule, because morality doesn't change that much. Any rule. Yeah, we're going to go by today then, because remember, Islam is supposed to be something that is forever and cannot change. So by today's rules, is it consenting? Because whatever you say, yeah, will make it quite apparent that Islam is not for eternity, because things change over time and people's moral compass changes.
Well, what would you say is any good Muslim that's a decent person and that follows the morals of the Prophet, yeah, he will not physically rape someone.
No, look, listen, bruv, was it acceptable then? So is this the reason why the companions went up to a person and asked, is it okay to? And you're saying at the time that was acceptable. Are you for real? I mean, even in your words.
Listen, Hassan, neither you or me was there. We both don't have a clue about how things were back then because we were not there. Now, all of you guys, including the right wing, always like to rationalize 1600 years ago to now. You'll use that rule for the Muslims, but you won't use that same rule when it comes to the Crusades of the Christians, when it comes to the Knights Templars.
Go live. Let me tell you something. The reason why they do it is because you have put what I call a stick in your own back, because you are the only faith that says your religion is for eternity and perfect. Christianity doesn't say that. No other faith says that. So you have made a requirement. You've set a requirement that cannot be met. So when we criticize you and say that this is barbaric, you cannot then say to us that, oh, we are being Islamophobes, because your particular faith is the one that said that everything within your faith is applicable in the 7th century and applicable now. So is it applicable now to have somebody who is under duress, their family's been killed, and everybody within her unknown circles, all the women have been captured, and they can then make a consenting decision about whether they want to be in a relationship with a person that might have killed their family? Is that something that you might think is a little bit, let's just say, immoral? Is it immoral or is it moral?
Well, from our perspective right now, it sounds immoral, doesn't it? Yeah.
So Islam is not forever.
For example, let's talk about the most recent example of it happening, yeah, which is ISIS and the Yazidi slaves, yeah. Obviously, they were mistreated and raped. Now, have you heard any Muslim, apart from the handful of extremists, have you heard any Muslims condone that?
Let me say something.
I'm sorry. Can I come in?
Hold on, Hassan. Can I just say one second?
I know loads of Muslims that find that acceptable. I know loads of them. All right. So do me a favor. Don't come out with a selective view, because guess what? It's not. It's not.
All right. So let's all right. So let's go and say this. All right. A lot of Muslims that I've spoken to, said is wrong, but then that confirms my particular view that Islam is not something that can be replicated for all times. So whatever decision they say is wrong. If they say yes, they agree with it, then they're agreeing with a barbaric act. If they say no, then they're going against their faith. And it shows that Islam is not for eternity. It cannot be implemented now. It can't be implemented. It can't be implemented in its entirety in 600 years' time. That's why Islam needs a reform. I'm not saying get rid of Islam. It needs to be reformed. All of these
You forget
bad
one
things,
thing, that during all of these caliphates and when Islam spread, it was all done on a different basis, and we had Muslim leaders that applied certain rules and didn't apply certain rules, and they used hikmah, wisdom, and qisas of their rulings to decide which was appropriate. For example, let's just say, as an example, just say I was a soldier in the caliphate, yeah? And every Muslim down the road, the normal ones you grew up with, and blah, 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 we was in the caliphate. Now, how many of those guys, including me, what I would say is, if I ended up capturing some captives after a battle, I wouldn't feel comfortable raping someone. It comes down to the individual. You're either a good person who won't rape someone. You're not going to pick up a book and say, so...
You're in war. Listen, you're in war, okay? You don't know if you're going to live tomorrow, okay? You hate these people to the point that you want to kill them. So why would you not rape them? Why would you not rape
that Hassan, I think you have a bit of a savage mentality, mate. If that's what you would do in war, mate, you need help, bro.
It's not fucking flowers and roses, mate. It's war. It's war.
Can I say
so war's usually about fighting, not with your guns, not with your dick, mate.
Can I say something? Go live, yeah. Within war, yeah, it's been proven that people who witness very savage circumstances, yeah, become desensitized to the normality of normal life. What happens is that some people get PTSD, when they were some people that went Vietnam and stuff. When they went there, they did some atrocious things. At the time, they didn't care because they become dehumanized the enemy. Yeah? They dehumanized them to fight them. But when they suddenly, 10 years later, started thinking about it, their morality came back. So when you're in war, yeah, and somebody is your enemy, the only way you can fight them is to dehumanize them. When you've dehumanized them, their women are dehumanized, their children are dehumanized. So
right, good example. Okay, so when the Americans,
I trust you. Let me just say something to you. If you was at war now, yeah, the only way you could get through that war, yeah, is to dehumanize your enemy. And by the time you get to that point of dehumanizing them, they've killed some of your people. You will be in such a rage. You will be in such a rage that all your morality would be gone. And in 10 years later, you would then start remembering what you've done, and you'd have flashbacks and then regret it, not at the time. So you would do disgusting acts at the time.
Well, if that's the case, yeah, you've had America go into Afghanistan. They've been there for over 10 years. You had America go into... they did. Now you tell me... No, let me finish then. Let me finish. So when did you see a Mujahideen capture an American woman soldier and rape her? Tell me one example of that.
Well, there was hundreds of cases of the Mujahideen capturing soldiers. But the thing is, you're using...
they were butchering soldiers, exactly. They were butchering soldiers, right. But when did they rape? According to your standard that you just explained, that you said in war you end up raping, yeah? Tell me an example of a Mujahideen in Iraq or Afghanistan even once capturing an American soldier, female soldier, and raping her, and it was on the news of the
Do you know how many female soldiers are on the battlefield under American services 20 years ago? Pretty much zero. You're talking about a circumstance in the 90s or the 2000s where women do not generally go on the front line. So you trying
to say that they were. I'll give you an example. The Abu Ghraib scandal. How many women, how many soldiers, American women soldiers, were pictured torturing Iraqi prisoners? There you go. That was almost 20 years ago, mate.
Hold on. Let me just say one thing. Then I'll let James say. Hold on one second. What I'm trying to say to you, when people go to war, it's normally men. 99% of the time, we men. Within the army, there are medics. There are people looking after prisons. There are people looking after administration. There is not just the front line. In order to be captured, it's normally the 99% of the time you must be on the front line fighting. You cannot have a Mujahideen going in a prison of war camp capturing a woman. It's going to be very difficult. That particular example is invalid. Let somebody else talk, like James or one of the other guys.
Rog, I think the thing is, I think the problem is that we're trying to equate the standards of Islam to the standards of the so-called West. It's a nonsensical argument because the West doesn't go to war based on religious grounds. It goes to war for profit. But Islam, Islam as a doctrine is infallible. So it's sent by God. So they should have a higher moral ground than, let's say,
Are you Muslim?
West.
Are you Muslim, my bro? What's your name?
No, I'm not Muslim. I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Bro, I'm not Muslim. Trust me. I'm not, man. Trust me.
All right. So do you believe that Islam is an infallible, perfect religion?
No, of course not, man. I'm
All right.
Muslim. I'm not Muslim. All I'm saying is that the gentleman with the blue shirt is trying to equate the standards of Islam to the standards of the West.
Are you telling me Islam has no standards?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
So what are you trying to say?
Basically,
you need to establish that it has a standard that it's meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, can we let James speak next as well? James, are you there?
But what I'm saying is that
James.
What I'm saying is that in the mind of a Muslim, they're doing no wrong. Do you get me? They're doing God's will.
No, that's not. Hold on. In the mind of a murderer, he's doing no wrong as well. In the mind of a psychopath, he's doing no wrong.
Yeah,
but that is not how we standardize actions, do we?
No, but I'm agreeing with you.
I'm
agreeing with you.
That's how he's agreeing with us. He's agreeing with us.
You're not. What you're doing is you're doing mental ninja, trying to say, you know what, this is okay. This is how.
He didn't say that.
When did I ever say that? Like, when did I actually ever say that? First of all, I never said that. I never said that.
Let me explain what he's trying to. Actually, now what he's trying to say is that from a Muslim's, not his perspective, from a Muslim's perspective, it's perfect and it's normal.
Not his. He's trying as a Muslim perspective. This is life. Everyone's. You make it sound like these people are living in caves.
Actually, no, I'm actually not, because
in the real world, they live amongst us. I don't want to be negative. We know when we've done wrong.
That's the problem. They don't live among us. They're segregated community. No, they don't. They're a segregated community. Yes, they go to the same schools as us, but they don't actually integrate into our society. So they have a totally different mentality. No, they have a totally. But that goes again. They have a total different mentality to someone that's not a Christian, or that's not someone from the West. They have a totally different mentality. So for you to judge, for you to judge them.
Seeing things is a different thing.
Yeah, but for you to judge them, no, but you can't judge them based on your standards. You can't judge them based on your standards.
I could be mentally and culturally different than you and still integrate with you. Okay,
not necessarily. Not if their book says that to separate from the dunya. Not if the book said to separate from the dunya. The dunya is what? The dunya is the world.
The dunya tells you to go to the unforsaken lands and conquer those, my brother. So how is that now?
Bro, I think we're actually agreeing, but you just want to attack me. I'm actually agreeing with you.
Hassan still thinks you're Muslim.
I'm not Muslim. Like, what the hell, man? I'm actually agreeing with you, but I'm trying to say that they have a totally different mentality to those of the West. So their ideology is to separate for the sake of Allah, for the sake of purity. So if they think that, okay, their way of life is pure and the West way of life is impure, they're not gonna conform to the way of the West. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, bro. Are you the black Irish guy?
Yeah.
Oh, how you doing? Yeah, he's a good guy. Hassan, he's not Muslim. I spoke to him before.
Guys, stop this, man. Listen, what I'm doing is criticizing his comment. I really could not give a shit if the guy's Muslim or not, personally.
Yeah, but what did I say that was wrong? What I said that
have got this cultural difference, and because of that, they can't integrate. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. Not at all. Can you just let me talk and just explain my point for 1 minute, please? What I'm saying is this: that the mentality of the Islam world is totally different from the mentality of the Western world, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, because the Islamic world is guided by the words of Allah, which are deemed to be pure and infallible, and the West is in its own way. So if you're trying to compare the West ideology and the West's standards of doing things to Islam, it's not going to fit because they're both guided by two different entities, and these entity which is the people democracy in the West, but in the Islamic world, it's not.
We know the reasons why. I asked you, and again, you just lied. And this is the reason why I get upset with people. I told you, is the reason why because they are not compatible. And you go, no, and then you explain that, yes, it is.
It's not that they're not compatible. No,
I asked you just moments ago.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying, and I'm repeating what I said. It's not that it's not compatible. It's not that it's not compatible. It's that they choose to deny themselves access into our paradigm. For example, there's different quotes in the Quran that tells them to separate from the dunya, to separate from the world. So those who this deem impure. So with that logic, you're automatically gonna say to yourself, wait, these people are others, and we're here. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying just to say that people in the West should try and don't judge them based on their based on our standards, but based on their standards. So if you're gonna come out after a Muslim, like I agree, criticize them, but criticize them using their sources, using their scholars. Because
is this all right? Is this all right?
No. I'm not setting myself to that.
Hassan, can I just say one thing? Can I just say we was talking about something that for me is very morally black and white. We was talking about sex slaves and what your right hand possesses. What I was trying to say is that if Islam is truly for eternity and is infallible from the 7th century until now, whatever's in the Quran, whatever's in the Hadith should still be applicable. I asked Go Live, he's very honest, if your sister was captured during a war and all the family was massacred, I'm going to ask you the same question. If your sister was captured in a war, all the family was massacred, and she was under duress because she wasn't mentally stable because of all the trauma she'd gone through, would she be a consenting adult if you then went into a relationship with her of a sexual nature? Would that be a consenting adult? Because one of the things that people say is that what your right hand possesses are consenting adults, but in reality they're not, because they're under traumatic circumstances which make them much more easier to manipulate. What would you let your sister?
Of course not. But once again, what I'm saying is that the times are different,
before you go on, we know that. We know times are different. So that's the whole point.
Can I just add?
Let me just finish my point. The whole point of this conversation is to show that Islam is not compatible with the West, because it's not compatible. It cannot move with the times. This is one very loaded. Loaded topic.
We know this.
Sarah's in the house. Sarah, do you want to come in the live chat? Let's see if Sarah wants to come.
I agree, but Raj, don't you not think that? But don't you not think that there's a difference between what the Quran says and what the Hadith says?
No, I don't think it's the same old shit. It's the same old shit.
A sex slave is a sex slave. There's no real kind of.
And I agree with you, but I agree with you. Yeah. But I'm just playing. I'm like, you know, Raj. I'm not a Muslim, and you know that I'm not Muslim. I'm just playing. I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's all I'm just doing.
You know what it sounds like? You're just a traitor to the West, bro. That's all that sounds like.
That's Betty wanting to come. Let's get a woman on here. Let's get a token.
Bro, I have no loyalties, man, because the West isn't better, though. Not gonna lie.
Are you shitting me? What? Yes, it is, bro. How dare you say that the West is not better? The standards of the West are dropping dramatically. It's not as great as it was. It's not as great as the was. And shit's all over it, mate.
It's due to the centuries of wars. World War I, World War II that crippled Europe. Okay, that crippled Europe because of nonsensical arguments based on geopolitics that have nothing to do with European countries. That's why Europe brought it upon themselves. I'm just being real.
Universities in this country and get better degrees, better social standing is because they went there. Right, so stop pissing on what you've got, yeah? And then
I'm not, but that once again, I'm
okay.
not pissing.
We get that. We get that.
I'm not pissing.
We get that. We get that. Can we now look into the future, please? Because you know what? This is really starting to piss me off, mate. You know what? All I hear, what we did, what happened then. What you know what?
Once again, I don't know where you're on, Hassan.
Yeah, everyone did shit back then, but it's only the Muslim stuff you like to bring up now.
Because
Hassan,
you are
Hassan, you need
hold on. Manny, control this a bit. Hold on. Go live.
The Jamaicans
We can't have a conversation if everyone's talking. Hold on.
Man, Hassan, man, you need a bit of manners, man.
Hold on. Go live.
Hassan's got too much hatred in his heart.
Too much.
Go live. Let me just say something. The reason why we are picking on your particular faith, because you're the only faith that says what was applicable in your book in the 7th century is still applicable now. So there are real life.
How do Christians and Jews not say that then?
They don't.
How is that just us?
They've had a reformation.
How is that just us?
They've had a reformation.
No,
what about the Jews?
They had a reformation as well.
They also are not. I mean, when I speak to Jews, they say quite clearly.
1807.
Jews have their own police force. Jews have their own paedophile problems that they keep in the community amongst themselves. Jews do all of this stuff.
No, they're not.
Yet you keep quiet about it.
No, they're not, mate. No, they're not.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Don't lie.
Yes, they do. You have rabbis in the street starting on women with miniskirts, mate. But you don't say nothing about that.
Don't talk shit, man. Don't talk shit.
They immigrate. Do you understand what that means? That they don't stay with their own.
Have you ever been to the Jewish communities in London, mate? Stamford Hill. I think you need to visit Stamford Hill, mate.
I think you need to block Hassan, man. He's just speaking out of hatred now, man. No sense whatsoever.
Can I say something to everybody here? Yeah, I'm not being bad. I'm going to tell it straight. There's 3 people that can't be blocked. Me, Hassan, and Manny. Yeah, everybody else can.
Did that hurt you?
It's just the way it is. Yeah, because Hassan's part of the main crew. And he can't be blocked.
Fine. Yeah, but it's really funny how we get called the savages. We're not the ones name calling, telling people to shut their mouth and just going off on one.
Yeah,
you need to kill them, man.
The relevant
well, it seems the Muslims have more manners in this situation.
Hold on, can we let James, the white man, speak? There's white privilege. Go on.
Yeah. So,
white man. James in the house.
I thought it might just be good to show some of the relevant sort of scripture that we're talking about. So from the Quran, like in Surah, in chapter 8, verse 69, it says, "So consume what you have taken of war booty." Is this font big enough, by the way? Or do I need to zoom in?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so consume what you have taken of war booty as being lawful and good, and fear Allah. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful. And so the question is, what does war booty consist of? Does it just consist of like material goods, or does it consist of human beings as well?
Material goods and human beings.
Hadith. And so here's a hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari, book 62, hadith 137, narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. We got female captives in the war booty, and we used to do coitus interruptus, which is like sexual intercourse where you pull out with them, with this war booty. So we asked Allah's apostle about it, and he said, "Do you really do that?" And repeating the question thrice, there is no soul that is destined to exist but will come into existence till the day of resurrection. And this particular story is expanded on in another hadith in Sahih Muslim. Here it's Abu Salama said to Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah be pleased with him, "O Abu Sa'id, did you hear Allah's messenger, may peace be upon him, mentioning al-azl, which is another word for pull-out sex or sex coitus interruptus?" He said, "Yes," and added, "We went out with Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, on the expedition to the Bil Mustalik, and took captive some excellent Arab women, and we desired them because we were suffering from the absence of our wives, but at the same time we also desired ransom for them. So we decided to have sexual intercourse with them, but by observing azl, withdrawing the male sexual organ before the emission of semen to avoid conception. But we said, we are doing an act, whereas Allah's messenger is amongst us. Why not ask him?"
So he asked Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, and he said, "It does not matter if you do not do it, but every soul that is to be born up to the day of resurrection will be born." So the problem we have here is that if, you know, traditionalist or Salafi Muslims genuinely believe that this kind of war conduct is the ideal war conduct, then surely that's going to lead to greater abuse than if we simply adopted the Geneva Convention, where it is illegal to take human beings as war booty. I think this should be a no-brainer. Like, surely, let's take an example from recent history. Like, there was a lot of rape that occurred in the Balkans, with the sort of Serbian, Bosnian kind of genocide. And as part of that, as part of what that happened, there were kind of UN peacekeepers there who actually bust out women and lots of women and children under the supervision of the UN peacekeepers. And so as a result, the kind of Bosnian genocide kind of mainly affected men. It was mainly men who were rounded up and just kind of killed en masse. And there were kind of women who were raped anyway, but like lots of them were saved because of these UN peacekeepers trying to make sure that the Geneva Convention was kind of for the most part upheld, and lots of women and children were bussed out from the war zone. So the question that should be asked is, would it be better to get rid of the Geneva Convention and replace it with a traditional kind of Sharia rules of war, where you could kind of just take women and children and men as war booty from the enemy civilians? I think if people answer this question honestly, they'll admit, okay, actually, we do have a better system now than saying that it's okay to take kind of enemy
James, can I just say something? What you've given is amazing. Thanks, bro. And you always come up with some amazing points. I think.
Carry on.
I just wanted to ask. I just want to ask you one question. Yeah, it's like when you're talking to people like Adnan Rashid and them lot. Have you ever asked them whether they would let their own family members be sex slaves if they were captured under war?
No, I haven't yet.
That guy is annoying, man.
Right. Okay. So I would like to address 2 points. Yeah. First of all, the text and the hadith that he mentioned. Yeah. Did in any part of those hadiths as you said, it's a very accurate state of what went on in those wars, yeah? Did at any time did the Sahaba say she doesn't want to sleep with me and is it all right if I force myself on her? That's number one, yeah? Number two, you're using the Bosnian conflict.
Are you telling me that in war they would have gone, you know what? I'm going to go and sleep with my
I had another point.
You're buzzing,
Hassan, I had another point.
Man.
Hassan, I had another point.
Hassan, let him finish.
Wants to get comforted and banged to fuck by an enemy. That's what you're saying, yeah? That they should be able to do that. Okay, yeah. She should be able to do that. She should.
What's the problem, Hassan, man? Have a bit of civility.
The enemy's car.
Have a bit of civility.
Is that what you want us to say?
Right.
Yeah.
On the second point, yeah, the audacity of using the Srebrenica massacre, where 8,000 Bosnians were killed, and they're still finding the bones today, to use that to prove your point about Muslims taking sex slaves, when at that time, the Mujahideen that were there, the British fighters were also there, they were fully sanctioned to go there and to help save those Muslims. It was totally legal. Now, to use that situation as an example of Muslims taking sex slaves is quite frankly ridiculous, to be honest.
Go Live, I think you've misunderstood me just slightly.
You're saying that the Security Council helped bust out women and children. How come this was never on the media?
Blah, 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 more bullshit. Blah, 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 more bullshit, more bullshit. Followed with some more bullshit.
Go Live.
Hassan, can I ask you a question? Did Jedi want to give you a punch in your face?
What's that?
Because I can tell why.
Okay. Can I answer? Go.
He doesn't come with any intellectual facts. He has no references. He just has.
Hold on.
People in the face. Guess what? You're the one that needs to be locked up, bro.
Let me just say something.
that's got this country to where the fuck it is now.
Yurick,
It's
let me just say
pricks like
something to
you,
you.
the left
Raj,
fucking
Hold
idiot.
on, Yurick. I'm going to say
Go
this one
around
time.
telling.
Hold on, Hassan. I'm going to say this to you one time. You say that again, you're off forever, man. Yeah, we're not having no bullshit. Hassan's not going to be threatening. No one's threatening no one. So don't say that again. I know you were saying it.
I'm just saying.
No. I'm not having that, man. I'm not having that.
I'm just referencing what you
I
said.
don't think he was threatening him,
Let's
Raj.
not talk about it. No, it doesn't matter. I don't care. You don't talk about that bullshit. Yeah. So let's
Fam,
get
you were
back
the
to
one that brought it up on a
one-
chat one time that Jedi wanted to punch his face, and I just
point.
repeated it, and I can tell why, because he's very irritating.
All I'm saying to you, yeah.
I never
that
threaten anyone.
I've said
I'm
to you
over
from
in Ireland, man. I'm in Ireland. I'm not even near.
Hassan is my boy. Manny's in charge. Anyone's talking shit towards those two, they're off. So you can make your point, but don't talk bullshit about it. So carry on and just get more civil.
Raj.
The reason why that's the reason why the people are in the position where you are, that you're making it acceptable to go around punching people in the face and have a legit reason to punch a person in the face. You've got a legit reason to punch a person in the face. Yeah?
Well, Hassan, if you're so British as you claim, you all know 10, 20 years ago,
yes or a no,
if you swear at someone and say, shut up, you idiot, you fool, you say that on a pub on a Friday night, you're going to get a punch in the face, mate. Maybe that's where your teeth went. I don't know.
No, you're not.
Girl Life Media, can I get back to you about the Srebrenica massacre point?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I might have not made my point very clearly, but I wasn't trying to show that the Srebrenica massacre was an example of Muslim savagery or poor conduct. No, it was obviously it was the Serbians. But the point I was trying to make was that if the Serbians had taken women and children as war booty, then what had happened would have been even worse. But I'm saying that.
Okay, it's glad to know you addressed that point, because they were actually cooking people's kids and feeding it to their mothers.
Maybe that happened as well, but definitely there were UN peacekeepers who bust out something like 8,000 women and children, and the men weren't covered, and they were left behind. And
right. And were there any reports of those women and children being raped?
The Geneva Convention and the UN peacekeepers there prevented extra harm from occurring, and I'm sure if
we can all talk about what could have or might have happened, but there were no reports of those Serbian women and children being raped.
But
right?
There are reports of kind of people being raped, but I'm saying that kind of definitely harm was prevented by having the UN peacekeepers, the Geneva Convention.
What's going on?
Can we get JK into the conversation, because I'm sure JK will have a sort of interesting point to make.
You're a troll, at least use a bad track. I look at me on there. Look, Shammy, that little prick. Shammy's got that little shit. Do you know what? Let me say something. When you're gonna troll me, don't use Punjabi MC. That's my favorite track. Yeah, use something terrible like some Bollywood thing. Get rid of him, Manny. Get rid of him. Chuck him off, Sammy.
Can I just say that I did mute Ulrich, but I'm having some problems getting his mute feature cancelled for some reason. It's not allowing me to, so it might be worth just hanging up and calling back in.
So good.
JK, do you want to say anything?
Oh, what was your question?
I just wondered if you had any perspective about whether kind of the war conduct in classical Islamic jurisprudence is the best possible war conduct, or whether following, for example, the Geneva Convention leads to a sort of better war conduct.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm not very knowledgeable on fiqh or hadith and even history, so what I say is coming somewhat from a place of ignorance. However, these things like slavery did exist in Islamic history, and they were practiced at different points, and it should be recognized, and Muslims should recognize that it happened and just denounce it. It's obviously not. It doesn't align with modern civilization. So, and there are a lot of people who believe this, even in the UK. That's all I have to say.
What did you say?
Can you hear me? Is my speaker working?
No, what's the last bit that you said?
I said it should be. A lot of people do believe it. That's what I said.
Do you believe what?
He said a lot of people do believe that, you know, in our day and age, maybe this factor might be left out. It's totally different. And that's, once again, you're all going on about stuff that what could or might happen, and you never know if it's going to happen. But because the Holy Book says it, just slaughter the whole religion with it and use it as a sort of...
It's a pretty bad precedent to set in a faith. So when we look at hold on, James. When we look at something like this, we have to question your morality, because if I ask you now, would you want it to happen to your mother, and you say no? If I say, would you want it to happen to your sister, and you say no, then your own morality is telling you that whatever was said in the Quran in reference to that was wrong, because it cannot be replicated today without being immoral.
Right, Raj, can I ask something? Yeah, Mr. Abdi. He wants to come on the chat. Is that possible?
No. Get Mr. Abdi to ask you a question. And
you know what?
I can't be bothered.
The reason why I say that, because Mr. Abdi the Salafi. Oh, wait, listen. Mr. Abdi the Salafi Muslim. He's kind of like from Shamsi's path.
Don't give a monkey.
And he's very good in regards to Islamic referencing. So he'll be able to...
Where he's... Is it Mr. A and then this...
Yes, that's the one. That's the one, Rod.
You could, I don't know, it's up to Manny. I think bring him on.
No,
Manny, can you come on?
His page, man.
Can I say something?
I personally don't mind, but I think there's enough people on because it's quite difficult to...
because he's what I mean is, I've heard some of his live streams, and he's really well versed in the Islamic teachings, and he'll tell you how it is. You know, he will call things, and he'll give you the faces and everything. He's really good at that kind of stuff.
But is he going to just basically...
No, he's not abusive at all. He's not very
good at just repeating what is said. You're not really good at critical thinking. So you must be really fantastic at just copying and pasting. Can you not do that?
What I'm trying to say is...
Can you not do that? Because you know what? I don't want no more extra people in here. Because you know all it's going to be is the Prophet and Muhammad, peace be upon him, and then verse in the Quran, and then...
Yeah, but we can just let him on and then chuck him off if he's garbage.
Address what
exactly.
is.
Can I say something?
Let's get him on and then just chuck him off. We'll give him 5 minutes and talk
and you'll see by his manners and his etiquette, what you're expecting is it's not going to be that at all. You see how Shamsi responds to stuff. It's going to be along those sort of lines. He's very expertise in these matters.
Manny, get him on here, give him 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll see what he's like, then chuck him off.
And Raj, I'd also like to say, you know, what he does is, you know how Shamsi refutes the extremists, the likes of Adnan and Suleiman and Abdul Hakim. He is on that side of the fence. So he will unbiasedly give you the evidences. Do you see what I mean?
But if you think he's going to come on and like start talking garbage,
no, he won't. He won't. His manners are impeccable, mate.
I don't care if his manners are impeccable.
So are child molesters.
And the thing is, I want to. All right, one condition: when he comes on, I want to ask him a question, and he needs to answer it honestly. Can you do that? And then he can start his defense.
Can I just say something before he comes on?
Yeah, go ahead.
How are you doing, JK? Sorry about Hassan's going to be quite rough today. So.
Yeah, man, he's a bit mad. It's all right. But the thing is, I think we should have more of a proper, systematic approach to talking, and one person should talk at a time.
Look, mate, do me a favour. Just address the point. Don't tell us how to live our life. Yeah, this ain't fucking Sharia yet, all right? Just address what you got to tell me. Don't start telling us how to behave.
No.
That already sounds like a condescending little cunt that you are. Okay.
But you're the only one that's rude.
What are you talking about? Okay, listen.
Condescending cunt. How dare you come onto someone's show and tell them how to behave?
No.
Do you understand?
Well, it's Manny's show, isn't it? It's not your show.
It's actually 3 of our shows.
Right.
We're like doing it jointly. We use Manny's platform. It would have been on mine because I can't do a group chat. So Manny's thinking. So the thing is, if I'm going to be honest with you,
you guys should act like this. Jesus Christ, mate! Get off one.
I know it's annoying everyone talking over each other, but in a way, I've told Manny behind the scenes if it gets too crazy to start muting people. But right now, I think one of the things that is we're not as controlled as say the Gin and Tonic show or Rob. We're more of the gutter show, where we just kind of rant and rave a bit. So that's a bit of the kind of unpredictability of it. But everyone just try and be respectful, and when someone's talking, try and just listen. Otherwise, we will start muting people if it gets too crazy.
Heart hurt and all.
So JK and Go Live Media, from a sort of orthodox tradition, from a Salafi perspective, they reject the kind of hundreds of years of scholars kind of improving rulings and agreeing with each other and like forming a consensus, right? So they try and kind of go back to the very kind of earliest examples of how the Salaf behaved, how the first 3 generations of Muslims did it.
That's not entirely true, because a lot of Salafis do adhere to Ibn Taymiyyah, who came in the 7th century, 700 years after the Prophet. So
okay, but I mean, in terms of like following one of the particular like schools of Islamic law, like that's less common. They'd more likely kind of go for, let's go to the very earliest. Let's follow the example of the earliest kind of
and
so on.
But to be honest, even though they don't say it themselves, they are actually Hanbali. They don't say it, but the truth is they're Hanbali.
Okay. But the question I was going to ask based on that is, if you kind of really strongly assert that the ideal legal system is the way that is the legal system from the 7th century of the Rashidun Caliphate and how the companions did things, then how are you going to say that the way that they conducted war and took human beings as war booty is no longer applicable today and is out of date? So I think JK I think is sort of of this opinion, but I'm wondering how Go Live Media, who describes himself as a freelance Salafi, kind of how do you approach whether or not the war conduct of the companions is the best possible war conduct, even today or in the future?
James.
Yeah, I think Go Live.
Can I ask a question?
Go Live should answer. Oh, okay, go on.
No, mate, you got you on here for that, bro. You know the reason why you're here, yeah? Like the 5 minutes. Like, can you keep up with what's going on here, yeah?
Me?
Yeah.
Who?
When you brought on.
Go live. The question was to go live.
Yeah, because I think JK is already sort of.
I've denounced it.
I don't think JK is like kind of Salafi, so I'm wondering how Go Live Media, who describes himself as a freelance Salafi, would approach this.
James, do you think there's a difference between Shia Muslims and Sunni Muslims on this issue?
I actually know nothing about Shia Muslims because they're just kind of not as they're not.
Well, okay, great.
To me.
So, with regards to slavery and how Muslims should, speak about it in regards to this, as you know, slavery in Islam is definitely permitted, right? Yeah, but one thing in Islamic Sharia law is that the same rights that are given to a normal human, a free man in Islam, are still given to a slave. Now, if you can't,
I'm going to ask you a simple question. Would you want your mother to be a slave? Or under Islam?
I don't think anyone would. No.
So why this is the problem I have with Muslims. You expect non-Muslims to accept a particular legal system which includes slavery, but will not want it on your own family. The reason why you wouldn't want it on your own family is because you know within your own heart and within your own morality that God has given you that it is wrong. Yeah, so don't expect us to have it.
So how can something be wrong in something so perfect?
True, very true, very true.
Well, slavery, don't forget, in those days and ages, slavery was an economic class.
I'm asking you again, if your daughter was born and she was made into a slave under, or whatever you want to call it, servitude, under Islam, would you be happy for her to be in that position?
I am
or no?
happy with whatever God wills, my
No,
friend.
yeah, all right.
Can I ask a
Raj,
question?
Then you do
Raj.
not want the best
See,
for
I'm
your
not going to
family.
be
then.
like JK, and I'm not
Raj,
going to
Raj, I think
blatantly
you have to
denounce
be.
something that my God made lawful. Because if
Wait a
you're
second,
going to
wait a second.
denounce
I think
something
you
that
have
your Lord has made
I told you,
lawful,
system
then you
reboot.
know
It's
what,
already
mate.
happened.
I
As I
feel
said,
like
Can
you
it's already
feel a bit torn. Don't you feel like,
I respond?
you know, a little bit of kind of cognitive dissonance or kind of mental strain because, you know, it seems as though you feel obligated to defend this just out of kind of dogma.
No, there's an Islamic
Wouldn't
takeover.
you
Listen,
defend this
Someone's
normally?
playing jihad
ISIS.
music.
Jihad music. Come on, louder. Come on, louder.
Raj, I think you have to be the Martin Luther of Islam.
What's
I
that?
think you have to be the Martin Luther of Islam.
Me?
Yeah.
You want me to be the Martin Luther King of Islam? I'll convert, yeah, and I'll
No, not the
reform
Martin Luther King, the Martin Luther, the guy
Oh,
that
Martin
reformed
Luther.
the.
Oh, yeah. The Protestant from Germany.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Because
I might
I think the problem with
convert
Islam,
and change it from within.
I
Can I
think
say
the
something?
problem with Islam is lack of adaptability to the times.
Yeah.
I think many Muslims think that the system in which they live is gonna be the same throughout the ages, which is very, 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 very bizarre to me.
Yeah, I mean, this
Very,
is the
very
difference
bizarre.
between me and Hassan. I don't want to. I'll be honest. No offense, Hassan. I don't want any more devil atheists. Yeah, I don't believe in atheism. So
Same.
no offense. So I would rather someone have a faith, but it be
All right,
reformed
so
for the
as long
time.
as I pray to something that I believe true to myself, I can go around killing people.
I
But
didn't
as
say
long as I
that.
can breathe
I
that,
didn't
yeah,
say that. I didn't say that.
you're all right living in that world. Okay.
No, I didn't.
You know
I
what?
didn't say
I'll
that.
find one of the
You didn't say that.
satanic religions, join up with them, just so you could be happy with me, bro. How about
Yeah,
that?
I'll choose
But
you.
what has
You're
that
right
got to
there,
do?
right?
But what has that got to do with
What-
anything?
Can I say something?
Hassan,
Look,
what has
I
that got to do with anything?
hold on,
What has
hold
that got to do with anything, though?
Hold on, Hassan. I don't
It has
believe
nothing
that
to do with what we're
atheists.
talking about.
Let me just rephrase it. I don't truly believe that atheists are devil. Some of the best people and most moral people have been atheists. And so atheism in itself, I don't really have a massive problem with. But I do think there are certain things like religion. I do think religion has its part in terms of containing and keeping morality within a family traditional values.
Raj,
So
I think
if traditional values are declining in the West because Christianity is declined, and so that this particular family structure, is what religion kind of keeps to a certain degree.
Raj, would you agree? Would you agree? There's a difference between spirituality and religion.
No.
I think, I do think there is, and I also think that
because I feel like people.
Combining the two
can be
is the
spiritual.
best way. Yeah,
I feel like people can be spiritual, but they don't have to be religious. Because I feel like religion is there to give you order and structure to someone's life. But spirituality is a bit like.
No, it's not.
Religion is
tell you how to live things, do things.
Yeah, that's what it
That's
says.
exactly what I said.
Yeah. Religion
That's exactly what I said.
No,
that's exactly what I said. You're just repeating what I said in a different way.
All right, so when you see Sufi Islam is, in my opinion, the true Islam because
of course
it has a religion.
Let's just dance and read all day.
But that helps. The problem with the Sunni Orthodox Islam, it's just a religion in the sense of structure, mainly structure, and even Christianity to a certain degree. And I think that's problematic.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go on.
When it comes to Sufism, you have to understand that most Sufis actually classify themselves as Sunni, and even though today a lot of Salafis denounce Sufism, a lot of their scholars of the past, such as Ibn Taymiyyah, actually were Sufis, but not how we know Sufis today. But actually, there is a lot of crossover between Sunnism and Sufism. I'm not sure about Shiism. I never looked into it because I wasn't brought up into a Shia family. But so like when you say Sufis, do you just mean more spiritual people, unless Orthodox?
I've met some. I know there are.
Do we call Sufis hippies? Like your Sufis, are they like my hippies?
I'm not a Sufi.
If they're these people, no one's got nothing against them people. But what we've got is if them people, hippies, believe in a book called the Quran, then there's a problem.
All right, so some Sufis I've met, have
All
pretty
right,
much
no,
told
let's
me.
just get this. Let's get this bullet point through. No matter if they're Salafi Muslims, Wahhabi Muslims, or Sufi, do they believe in this book called the Quran? Because from what I last remember, they were meant to. All right, and that book is where the faults are.
But the
Raj,
problem is,
Raj,
hold on,
would you,
let me
Raj,
say,
would
let
you
me
agree?
respond.
Would
Hold
you
on,
agree?
let me just
Raj,
respond
would
to
you agree
Hassan
with
first.
one thing, real quick?
Yeah.
Would you agree with one thing? Yeah, that the lack of spirituality in the West has made the West decline rapidly.
Yeah, of
Because
course, I've said it all the time.
we had 40 years of secularism, and you can see the decline of Western society. 40 years of
No, when
40
it
years
comes
of
to
pure.
hold on. When it comes to government, it must be secular. Get that out of that now. I was like, hey, there's that crazy shake. It's a crazy shake on again, yeah. Can I just say something? Look, yeah, I'm the first to say that the West has gone too far liberal and the Islam is too far. It has, because that is why the West is going to decline, because it's lost traditional values like a family structure and
the war on men, the war on men as well.
The war on men. We can have a whole different discussion about that freaking thing.
Laws.
Hold on. So let me say something.
No, 1 minute. Raj, you made it quite a couple of times. Let me address this, please. No, it hasn't. Liberalism is not the problem. What it is that government has not played a part in having the interest of the people on their side.
Liberal politics, neoliberal politics is the problem. Neoliberal politics.
Open the borders and they
that's neoliberal politics.
And because
that's neoliberal politics.
We've had to accept it. That's the problem.
You just validated. You just validated Raj's point. You just validated Raj's point. You have just validated Raj's point. The problem is neoliberalism politics. The open borders, free economy. That's what has destroyed the West, and that's the politics. And that's what me and Raj are talking about. You will never put the blame. You will never put the blame. You will never put the blame on the government.
Come on, let's have some order. Let me say something. Like in terms of secularism, I said that when it comes to a government, the government must be secular. Even if we had a Khalistan, which is a Sikh state, I'd want the government to be secular. But there should be religion within the people, I think, in terms of your individual homes. Yeah, because I think that creates
in your homes.
Within your own home. Within your own home.
All day long.
You don't go shoving your freaking religion down your throat like Zakooms that I always talk about, and just kind of keep it between yourself.
Raj, you end up like OS. What's that place?
Show Dollar, the rap people. Let's not go back to that. Kind of stuff,
that's the most fucked up shit I've ever seen, man.
Yeah, no. We'll do a whole show about that. What I do want to talk to you about in the future,
the most fucked up thing I've ever seen is, you know what, the left keep on insisting for more rope to hang the whole fucking nation.
Yeah, that's actually neoliberal politics that's destroyed the West. Do you just agree with us?
That particular subject matter, we're completely in agreement with. I think the feminazis, any feminazis in there,
I fucking hate them, bro.
And so I think the war on media is a whole different topic that needs a whole show. So I invite you onto that when I do it, but I want to do it on my channel because I think it's one of the most important topics to talk about.
And Raj, yeah. I'm 20, yeah, and it's in schools. Like I dropped out of college because the liberal politics just was doing my head in. You get like it was just like we had to address people on the pronouns they wanted. Like just imagine that. All my life I grew up with like older lads, yeah, and we'd be messing around and seeing the FAGGAOT word and everything and all of this stuff. And when I got into college, it was like the police, like university. It was like the police was around. I couldn't say nothing. Like we had this place in our university, Trinity College. Yeah,
a safe place.
Why was the police there?
We had this place in Trinity College where we would talk.
But why did you have the police there?
No, I'm not talking about the police, like the physical police, literal police, and basically people were like it was just mental, man. It was just mental.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of
I took off a
this
year.
year,
I took a year off.
Yeah, I mean, I think for young boys of your
Just-
age, I think one of the biggest problems for young boys of your age, which is why there's a lot of problems with people from the youngsters now, is this
and
war and
suicide as well.
Yeah.
Suicide is
and
really
suicide
big.
as well.
Can I
What I
say
want to do is
what the problem is with the young kids today? You know what? You
no, but
ain't
we're
had
gonna
a
go off
fucking
topic.
smack
I
man
want,
head and be told to get
yeah, that's
fucked
true
up
as
and
well. I'll
eat
be honest with you,
stuff.
that's true as well. Yeah, kids need to be beaten up, like not beaten up, sorry, hit once in a while. So can we save this topic because this topic is
That's
too
your problem.
important.
You know
This
what? You've
topic
not had
too
you've had it
important to
so
talk.
easy. It's
Hold
become
on,
fucking hard, bro.
this
That's
topic
what
is
the
too
problem is with
important to
you.
talk about in this chat, yeah, because I want to do a whole show on that. So I don't want you people to hear the same thing. So save whatever you're going to say for
Oh,
a
shut up. Stop
completely separate
dictating
show.
what to do on Manny's channel. He's going to get more bigger than you, atheist.
I don't want him to, though. I don't want him to. Stop
I do.
subscribing to Manny.
He's
I'm gonna
more
joke.
fair.
Subscribe to Manny. Subscribe to him. Yeah. So can we go back onto what we was talking about? You was talking about Sufism. One of the things about Sufism, they don't always see the Quran in a literal sense. They sometimes see some of the stuff in a theoretical sense, like
And
heaven
a
and hell,
metaphorical sense as well.
and a metaphorical. Yeah, sorry, metaphorical and theory. Yeah, sorry, metaphorical sense. Yeah, because you know, if you see it in a literal sense, then it's a much more hardline religion. So the Quran seeing in a metaphorical sense is not as harsh as you might when you're reading it.
Raj, have you noticed? Have you noticed the way the Sufis interpret the Quran? They interpret it as a poem. How you like in school? Yeah, when I was in a secondary school, we would examine poems, and we would take, like, for example, a Shakespearean play, and there'd be phrases in it that would seem wild to us, but the way our teacher broke it down to us, it made us understand the deeper meaning to it.
Well, that's
and I feel like Sufism does that, but the literalists,
the literal education. You're mistaking Sufism with having an education.
What are you talking about, man?
Bro, Giz, you do know that you can get the same kind of enlightenment in performance art universities. You do know that, don't you?
But I've never said different. All I'm saying, that's not the point.
Being with loving people, very liberated, culturally, trying to find out what's good, being investigative. You know, you do get that in university. You don't need to be a Sufi.
Raj, what are we talking about?
Called the Quran. That book is, when I'm saying it suits them, they follow it when it suits them, and they don't take the bits when it don't suit them. You know what that's called?
Let me say something.
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. So when somebody, I'll give you an example. I spoke to a Sufi, yeah, and when I was talking about heaven and hell, it's very important that, you know, when somebody says hell, yeah, God is going to be internally kind of tucking zakums down your throat, boiling 70 degrees, hotter than the sun, water down your throat. He's not a very nice God. But for Sufis, they don't see it like that. They don't see that as a literal hell. They see that as a more of a metaphorical hell. And so their outlook on life will be slightly different. And so when they're reading the Quran, they're reading a book here in a different fashion, because the reading is perspective. So Hassan, they don't see the world in the same way. A lot of them, not all of them. Some.
Raj, did you ever look into African philosophy and their version of the afterlife?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to, like, with Titans is doing more kind of shows on African
religious
the Kemetic way of life and stuff.
In my tradition,
atheists are having to go, you know what, your one's a bit better than his one, his one's a bit better than their one.
In my tradition, Raj, in my tradition, yeah, when you die, an angel takes you into judgment, and then the judge weighs your heart. No, I'm not a Muslim. What the hell, man? I'm not a Muslim. And then the judge weighs your heart, and if your heart is heavy, you're taken into another place where you're going to be judged. But if your heart is lighter than the feather, you go into you go into your ancestors with your ancestors. And if your heart is like heavier, you go in and you're judged. But then you get reincarnated into you get reincarnated into an animal or something where you can observe all the consequences of your action. Do you get me? You get to experience the pain of the people you've hurt, etc.
The Sheikh is back. The Sheikh is back. The Sheikh. Hello, Mr. Sheikh, you little dwelling prick. Go back to Pakistan. Go back to Pakistan. Start playing
that's your
with
question.
that freaking crazy
Raj.
Imran Khan. Sorry. Yeah, so
Raj.
let's go
Raj.
back onto the topic now. I will talk to you about it, actually, because that's very similar to reincarnation within the Dharmic phase, which is a much more compassionate God. He's giving you another chance. So we'll talk about it in a separate topic. But who is James still on here? James Speaker's Corner.
He's gone off.
No, he's left.
He's left. We scared him off, for God's sake. Why did you do that for? All right, go on, JK. Say your piece.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how similar is Sufism to Sikhism in terms of theology?
It's not. It's no. Sufism, from my understanding, is still pretty much Islam in its theology, but they see things in a metaphorical way. So when I was speaking to a Sufi,
because
yeah,
like
They could turn a blind eye to bullshit.
no, because like Guru Nanak Dev Ji had he had disciples that were Sufi, and he was
but Mardana was he was his companion.
So
and we have lots.
Did they have any impact on the legacy of Sikhism?
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying that by Jagarsin. So let's pick up it by Jagarsin. His truth is universal. So there is truth within Islam that we believe is truth, and there are things that obviously within Hinduism that is truth. And so obviously he wannabe is great from my understanding. Guru Nanak Dev. So if there's any Sikhs say something wrong, stop bitching and whining and just educate me. But wannabe's biggest kind of influence is obviously Baba Farid and people like that. So he obviously was influenced by a lot of Sufis and everything, because a lot of obviously his companion was Sufi. But as Sikhism progressed, obviously by the time we went to like 200 years later, the influences of Sufism was a lot less, probably pretty much negligible by that point, in my opinion. Even though we still had.
Guys, can I ask a favor? Can we stop talking about this bullshit, please, Muslims?
Yeah, go back on the topic. Let's go back on the topic. Can
we go back to Speaker's Corner? You know what? Yeah. Allah. Yeah, great. We get it. Yeah, it's brilliant. All right, now let's go back to more sensible things to discuss about, because you know what? I hear there's so much shit about it. It's sickening.
Oh, can we address one thing here? Hassan, there's a video of you out here with Mo. What's his name? Omar, Rat Boy. Sorry if I'm calling him Rat Boy. And it looks very bad out of context. Now, even when I saw the video, I was like, oh my God, Hassan looks terrible, because he's talking about Mo's dad who's passed away here. And I have to say, I've said to Hassan myself, anyway, I think, when someone's passed away, that, there is a slight different, let's just say, you can have a little bit more respect. But when I spoke to Hassan, he told me that he was cussing out his mum beforehand. So can you tell us the full story? Because that video does look very one-sided and makes you look terrible. So what did really happen before you started talking about his father and all that kind of stuff?
Well, it's the usual drill, isn't it? I mean, how long has Omar been coming to the park for now, guys?
A month, maybe 2 months.
No, more than that.
2 months, yeah.
Couple of weeks.
And how many times have we seen him in? And how many times have we seen him in some major disputes? And
every week.
Okay, so can we contemplate that maybe he may have said something to me beforehand?
But can you tell them what was said to you?
Yeah, well, what he said to me, he's called out my mum's a crack whore, and he said numerous, abusive stuff. You understand me? That doesn't need worth mentioning, but they're pretty much no different to what I say. And another thing that I'm going to add to this as well: if your father is dead, your father has died.
Raj, can Mohib come on?
Mate,
no more people coming on.
If your father died, would you go around cursing people's mothers? I mean, just think about this. Your father's dead. You have no father, but yet you want to go around criticizing people's parents. I mean, the logic.
Can I say something? Someone joined.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not another one.
Hassan. I actually agree with you, because I saw that video.
Mohib, who's Mohib?
I don't know. Sorry? Not sorry?
It looks like some Afghan Taliban.
Okay, so Hassan, I saw that video between you and Rat Boy, And at face value, it looked really bad. But now that you explained it, I think, yeah, like your explanation really like adds more to the story. Because at face value, I was thinking you can't justify swearing at someone's father, but I didn't know that he was saying bad things about your mother as well. So I think it's good that you said that.
He was antagonizing Modine as well, wasn't he?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Do you think that if he didn't say something about my dad, let's just address that. If he didn't say anything about my mum, do you reckon I still had the right to say that to him?
I think to talk about someone's dead father is just out of bounds.
My brother, I'm asking you just a yes or no question. You can then go into it later.
Yeah, sorry. Can you say it again, please?
This guy, like 1 minute, he's been known to be an idiot, and he's going around, and then someone's going to go up to him, and maybe even knowingly know that his father's dead. Do you reckon it's all right for that person to go up to him and start insulting him? Because I'm going to answer it. I'll answer it. So
no, it's not right. You can't do that.
I think that's okay to do that as well.
No, you can't.
Why? Why?
Because
why?
It's somebody's dead father.
Hold on. 1 minute. You're forgetting that this guy is going in there and he's insulting people's religion. Right? He's going around there telling people that
there's an echo.
And then he's worrying that someone's going to come up to him and lay it on him. No, that's called life. That's called yin yang. That's called justice. That's called karma. That's called 101 things. That's what happened. Stop being a cunt. Stop being a cunt to people, and people won't be a cunt back.
Yeah. No, the thing is, if he was doing it on that day and earlier that day, he was going on ranting and raving, and I'm using Roger's terms, but if he's going earlier, like swearing at people and fighting, I understand. But out of nowhere, it's wrong.
Yeah, but again, that's what I mean. And another thing, my brother, look, please don't misunderstand me. People don't normally go up to people and start. So you got to ask yourself this one question. If someone's going up to someone and saying something to somebody that's being abusive, you got to ask yourself, well, why is that person doing that? Why? Why?
I don't. To be honest, you know, what's his real name?
It's not like he's had one civil discussion since he's been on Speaker's Corner. Not one civil discussion has he been involved in. Not one. So
down
there and just using him as a kick donkey should be acceptable without it being physical.
I think that
the way idiots, you just got to use them as that.
I think that the way he conducts himself is really bad, and he should just go away from conversations. Someone jumped into the conversation.
Someone called Mohib or something. Who's that now? Out of it's some crazy lunatic, some jihadi again. A lot of jihadis jumping in Saudi Arabia.
And his cousins are in PS.
Yeah, what are they doing, man? Yeah. The RS.
Raj.
Dollar.
Raj, I caught it. I saw who it was. You know who it was? It was Titans TV. He came on quickly. Titans TV. I saw the volume go up and down. He quickly played the jihadi thing and he quickly went off.
Did he?
It's Callum. It was Callum. Yes, 100%. I saw it.
I can't imagine Callum doing that. Well done, Callum.
I saw it, mate. I saw it.
Look what's happening again. Somebody else is on there. Oh, it's him, that little Rottweiler. Moses, mute him off. Mute that little guy off. Let's see what he says. Get him on. He's a bit crazy, that guy. Get him on.
No, I muted myself. How's everyone doing? Is everyone okay?
Let me do the story.
Why do you keep referring to me as a dog?
No, because what happened is
I keep referring to me as a dog all the time.
Well, I saw him once, and he's so quiet. He's quite so quiet. Someone turned off their echo. Yeah, so he was very quiet, little guy, listening. Then I saw him later on in the night time, and he started freaking biting me, Rottweiler. I don't know what was going on. I had to kick him off me. So that's why I call you the Rottweiler.
After you know how it is, Raj. After hours, it gets a bit friendly in the park.
You went into freaking Rottweiler mode.
No. I think what you were saying was a bit kind of unjust towards me. So
I know, but the way you
I know, but the way you see it,
you was like under rabies or something. It was pretty weird. So
Mohib.
People have
I said a good to I like him. I like him.
Mohib, what country are you from?
Ulrich, good to see you again, my friend. How are you? You okay?
Good to see you, brother. Yeah. What country are you from, bro?
My origins are Bengali, bro.
Oh,
Nice.
Can you give us
Where's that
a take?
again?
What's your take? Can you just take your take on the whole Tan situation? So let him talk for a couple of minutes so we can understand where he's coming from with the Quran, the free speech, the threat from ISIS and all that. And you just give your piece.
You're speaking to me, yeah?
Yeah. You just say the whole situation about the Quran and Tan and everything. What's your take on that?
Check out my channel. You will see that I try to be. I try to kind of listen to everyone's opinion. I completely kind of agree with people who side with his right to say whatever he wants. But again, you have to live in reality and why people might be upset. As a Muslim, people's views in Speaker's Corner don't dictate anything. What happens outside Speaker's Corner, I just think it's his own little bubble. So if you hear some weird, it doesn't necessarily kind of, it doesn't change my opinion on religion or religion, But he's got his freedom to say. I've met Tan on a few occasions, and he's a nice guy. I think a lot of people's understanding of religion comes from also their subjective kind of experience and their experiences in life. And I think that everything comes from what we've kind of gone through and we've interacted with. So he's a funny guy. It's really funny. I don't get offended personally.
All right. So now let me ask Hassan something. Like when you listen to Mohib, that sounds quite rational. What you call a moderate Muslim. Would you not say what he's saying now is quite moderate? And
Are you calling me rational?
Oh my God.
Raj, look at my screen.
Oh, what is that? Oh, little rat people.
If you take back what he said, there's nothing moderate about that at all.
Rat $12. Oh my God. No. I feel bad now. I feel bad now.
He finds it funny. Yeah, I get that bit. I get the emotional side of this nice guy.
It's actually quite. I will have to address that at some point. Sorry, guys, but that is a real picture of Rat $12. And we're not making fun. We're just trying to highlight inbreeding is wrong. We know it. Oh no.
You know what?
TNT Greeks is laughing there. Oh no, never jihadis in the house. Jihadis. Times TV. It's turned exclusive. Titans TV has turned into a Khawarij and ISIS jihad.
Yo, Raj, have you ever thought of being a comedian?
Some people have said it, but I'm not really. I don't consider myself funny.
Bro, you're hilarious, fam.
I just think I'm very truthful, which is different.
Oh my. Maybe it's because you like taking the piss of everyone, and that's like an Irish thing here, like.
Yeah. So see, I take a piss out of myself all the time as well. So I'm self-deprecating. Maybe people like that because I say I'm an arsehole and a prick, and people find that quite humorous. But I am. So what? What insult me? It's hard to insult me because some people come up to me and say, "Raj, you
have no life." I've got a
video where
you have no life, and you're like, yeah. And so what?
Rich, I got a video coming up here of this guy coming and said, "Raj, you was bullied at school. People took your lunch money." I said, "Yeah, it's true." And so I'm like, "Yeah." So you just don't speak as corner to let out your anger. I said, "Yeah,
no fucks given."
So the thing is, like, they can't troll me because everything they say. When they say I'm a prick, I say, yeah, I am a prick. Some people say I'm a cunt, and I say I'll be your biggest cunt you've ever met.
How does someone reply back to that? Like,
yeah, they can't. They just go silent. And do you know what they do? They then become my friends after and say, Raj, I kind of like you.
Manny.
So yes, mate.
Manny's in the house. Manny, can you say something, please?
What were you going to ask me, Hassan?
Do this favour. Can you just sort of like narrate what's going on here, please?
I've no idea, mate. Literally no idea.
I was supposed to be talking about what's going on. We keep going back to just talking just bare nuts, man.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's tap in. Let's go to one. All right, let me just go to one topic here. Let's stick to one topic.
Raj,
One thing I want to ask Hassan, because this is one of the things that. Hold on, let me just say something. One of the things is that I keep on saying the reason why me and Hassan differ and we clash, and the reason why I was talking about tangoism is because I believe there is something as a moderate Muslim. They may not be following the faith exactly, and they might in their own heads compartmentalize certain things they don't like and ignore them, but they are still moderate Muslims, and I believe we need to work with the moderate Muslims rather than fight them and support them so they can weed out the bad guys. So I would consider Mohib a moderate Muslim. I would consider hold on, let me just finish. I would consider Mohib a moderate Muslim. I would consider JK a moderate Muslim, and I'd consider Ghulam Hamid a Khawarij. I'm only joking. A more orthodox Muslim. Yeah? So I think that supporting the moderates is the way forward and giving them a platform to be able to talk and express their views. Now, what do you classify Hassan as a moderate Muslim? So let's understand where you're coming from and why you say that JK is not a moderate.
JK. That's what I classify a moderate Muslim.
Let him talk.
Before we get to the moderate part, do we figure out where we stand on what a Muslim means to people? Although I don't know if he and
Raj, you're a Muslim. Raj, you know that you're a Muslim by default.
Guys, listen, do me a favor.
You know you're a Muslim by default.
I'm still sorry, dude. I still got a foreskin.
Can you just keep them off, please? Because you know what? I want you to discuss what happened at Speaker's Corner and the reactions. Not talk about Islam. What's a moderate Muslim? It's all about the Muslim.
No, but important. This is important because hold it. That is about Speaker's Corner.
Why do you want someone that's not for your civilization to coexist? Yeah,
what I'm saying to you, how people react to Speaker's Corner will relate back to the people that are moderate. So if you're moderate Muslim, you will react to what happened at Speaker's Corner in a different way.
A moderate Muslim would be called a Christian. Listen to me, Raj. A moderate Muslim is a Christian. That's what a moderate Muslim is.
Raj,
there is no such thing as a moderate Muslim.
Raj, let's not forget. Raj, let's not forget. Without the Islamic Golden Age, there wouldn't be any Europe.
No, don't talk garbage like that. It's rubbish, man.
It's true though. Like it's true. Like Muslims were the ones to translate all the Greek, all the Greek texts of Plato, etc.
Yeah, but you're making quite a bold claim. You're saying there would be no Europe. You could say that Europe would be different. Go off, Punjabi MC. Do something with everyone. Come on. Oh no, I like that.
If I sat here and tried to convince you that Harry
Potter was on there.
Harry Potter. So my question is, we can say we are something, but whether we are that thing, so whether we believe that person is a Muslim or isn't, it's irrelevant, isn't it?
Not really. Not if that person is affecting other people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, I can claim to be anything. So I can say, yes, Raj, I'm a moderate Muslim. Let's be wishy-washy about everything. That doesn't mean I'm a moderate Muslim.
Right, can I ask you a question, Mohib?
Well, how can we? The thing is, playing devil's advocate. Yeah, how do we trust if you're being genuine? Because I don't know if this is true, but apparently you're allowed to lie to non-Muslims.
That's a good question. I think you have to look at what the text is saying about what sort of characteristics that person will have. Me personally, my dad has always said, my dad's not really religious, but he said, judge a person by his deeds as opposed to his religion. And that way you find that people might be claiming that they're Muslim or not Muslim or Sikh or not Sikh, but good people have certain deeds that they do. And
yeah, but that's true. But Raj, you know the way you were bigging up the Jews yesterday on your live chat.
Yeah.
The thing is that did you know there's actually worse things in the Talmud than there is in the Hadiths?
Yeah, but the thing about Jews, I've spoken to lots of Jews, and what they say is that they don't take things literally anymore, and they progress and knew that certain things are wrong.
That's not true. Have you ever heard about the unorthodox Jews in London, man? They're radicals.
Yeah, I know.
They're radicals, bro.
Yeah, Orthodox Jews are just as crazy as some of the Orthodox Muslims. But what I'm trying to say is that most Muslims, even the moderates to a certain degree, sorry, KK, will still say that the Quran is pretty much the word of God and it's perfect. But I'm going to ask Mohib a question that I asked somebody else before.
Again,
about
want to Islam.
Hold on, we have Islam. It's like the Ferrari of bad ideas. So let me just say something here. To Mohib, what I'm saying to you is that I'm going to ask you a question about something that's quite important, which is what the right hand possesses, which is in the Quran. I want to ask you, if your family was captured, your sister was captured under war circumstances and then was put into sexual slavery, would you think that she would be making that out of, let's just say, from her own free will, or would she be under some kind of mental strain or mental subjugation from being a war captive or somebody
Raj, before before you answer that, yeah, Mohib,
just silence him, man.
Before you answer that, I just want to ask Raj something, yeah. Raj,
let Mohib answer it first, and then you can ask me, because I need him to answer, because I think that really shows someone's moral compass in terms of how they see themselves and non-Muslims, because they expect non-Muslims to accept this, but when it comes to their own families, they would not accept it. I mean, at least with Go Live Media, he said, all right, if that's what it's going to be, it's going to be. So I can at least say he's consistent. What would you say if your family members were captured under war circumstances and your sister was the only person left at your own family and you was dead and everyone else was dead? Would you find it acceptable that they may become a sex slave?
My brother, if I was a Muslim, if I was a Christian, anyone who's subjected to sexual slavery is going to have, obviously, it's going to have psychological implications and a negative one. So why would I ever think that's a good thing?
All right, so you're against a lot of scholars then, like Adnan Rashid and them lot.
Like, you asked me, what would I think if my sister became a sex slave? Yeah. Why would I, regardless of my religion?
Let me rephrase that then. What if my family member, who's a non-Muslim's family member, became a sex slave, and you was under their control? How would that be? Take your family out of it.
So I don't understand. So
now, you're obviously you've said that you wouldn't like it to happen to your own family, but let's just say it happened to, say, somebody else's family, my family, that was my family, or Hassan's sister, or I think he's a non-Muslim. Would you find it acceptable then for them to be under the right-hand possessors?
I think what you're trying to say is, if your family was in war with my family.
Said what he said.
No, I've said that if we was at war, I asked you if your sister was captured and then she was put as what we call a sex slave, would you be happy with it? Hold on, you said no. I'm now asking you the same question. If a non-Muslim was captured and put under a sex slavery through the right-hand possessors, do you think that would be acceptable?
Okay, before I answer that, Hassan, is it just because...
Answer yes or no. It's a very simple question.
Turkish people. I live with a lot of Turkish people. I'm in North London.
No. We're asking you. We're asking you. Not Turkish people, you. We're asking about your morality, because this is one of the things I find very disturbing about Muslims, because they have a one rule for themselves, but when it's for everybody else, they're like, all right, it doesn't matter.
You can't answer it.
And if I was to impose my morality, I'd say that we
just answer yes or no. Answer yes or no. This isn't no freaking like one of these shows that we're going to wait forever. Just yes or no. I can't hear you, bro.
You're asking me if I saw your family as sex slave, would I be happy?
No, I didn't ask you that. I said, would you accept it under your legal system, under the Sharia? Would you accept it? Not whether you're happy. Would you accept it? You don't have to be happy about it.
Hold on. Okay, let me answer with a bit of context, because I don't know why we're just kind of trying to encapsulate.
Can you just say yes or no and then explain yourself? You're waffling about. We want a very simple. It's a very black and white answer. I would say no. I wouldn't be happy. I said, yeah. I've asked everybody. I've asked Go Life as well, that if his sister was captured, yeah, and she was made into a sex slave, do you think it's acceptable? Because she won't be mentally capable to make the decision if she is an orphan or she's the orphan or a family thing.
How about if you starve her and beat her and tell her that she's second class to you? How about then? Do you reckon she's going to be like in that position where even if she weren't consenting, she'll start to then?
Yeah.
Raj.
But let Mohib answer first before anyone goes on.
You know, I've just realised, like, the especially with Hassan. I think he just hates me purely because I'm a Muslim. He hasn't met me.
No, dude, just answer the question. Stop trying to divert. Answer the question.
I hate your ideology, brother. I don't hate you.
Hassan,
I hate your
Hassan,
ideology.
you're letting him get away
I
with
hate
this.
your ideology. I despise it.
Who's Mo on there? Oh, Ali, look who's it. Dawa man's here. The man that said, I'll tell you my favorite saying for Dawa man. Listen to this. Dawa man was saying, he said,
and don't interrupt, don't get brave and disrupt. Me, I just want to rap because if you don't,
Raj.
Yeah, I like that.
Raj.
I like Dawa man.
Raj, what I was saying, yeah, I think this is the problem with the Abrahamic faith, because in the Torah and in the Talmud, it's also permissible to have sex slaves. For example, I'll give you the quote now.
Does that make it any better?
No, of course not. That's what I'm saying.
So why are you talking about it, bro?
Let me say something.
Shut up, you Muslim, mate. Just go back to your Quran.
Let's not talk about Jews, because the Jews are not going around doing dawah 24/7 and chucking their religion down your throat.
Because it's an elitist. It's an elitist.
I know, so we don't need to worry about them because they're not around doing dawah. I am very concerned because I've seen so many videos now of Adnan Rashid, who I used to respect, condoning slavery and sex slavery. For me, when I hear I have to question your morality. Yeah, if you think it's okay for people to do that, I've got to question your morality.
Right, do you remember what Adnan?
Can we just let Mohib answer my question? Because come on, just tell the truth.
Raj, do you remember when Adnan Rashid said that? Do you remember when he said that there wasn't, the thing that hurt me the most as a black person, yeah, is when there was obvious.
Don't leave home without it, bro. Don't leave home without it.
Shut up, man. Just shut up. You're a bit 50 and you have manners of a 3-year-old. Relax.
And you got the fucking IQ of
right.
I've
ejected that chap because he kept speaking over everyone, and we need to finish for 1 anyway. All right. Well, you go ahead if you want to answer.
Hassan, you're very angry.
Oh, shut up.
Hassan, can you toast or salad?
All right. What's happened now? Why is it gone so silent? Mohib is trying to talk. You've muted him. Let him talk. I think. I don't know what he's saying though. He's just like.
He's not muted himself, the dumbass.
He's talking nonsense.
Who's talking nonsense?
That's what you can say. It's nonsense.
Is Mohib talking nonsense?
He's out as well. So is JK?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
JK, do you want to say anything?
Where's the nonsense, please?
Okay. I said Mohib is speaking nonsense. Okay. I think that Muslims should recognize that there are bad parts of our history, and like all civilizations, there are bad parts of our history, and we shouldn't bring it to the present time or the future, and we should all denounce it. But unfortunately, a lot of Muslims worldwide still believe in slavery, and that's wrong. That's all it is.
I can ask you, why do you think they still believe in it? Is it because of culture, or is it because in the Quran it says you can have what your right hand possesses and all of that? Because there is a religious element to it that most other religions do not have this element of slavery. I don't know nothing within the Sikh religion that has an element of slavery in it or anything like that. So do you not? Can you not see that the reason why Adnan Rashid will condone slavery is because pretty much his faith has told him that some form of slavery, although better, which I don't think is better, that's what he's saying, is better than XYZ type of slavery, he still condones it because the Quran says or the Hadith say it's okay.
The thing is, I think that not him, but a lot of Muslims, like not him only, but a lot of Muslims worldwide, they believe that the Quran is the same interpretation 1,400 years ago and today, and if they were to question it, they're literally excommunicating themselves, and they'll be denounced by the community, so they can't really do it.
Are you saying that about yourself?
No, not me.
So then it's left with one thing for it to be denounced.
Hands in hands.
1 minute, shut up. 1 minute.
Yeah.
So it should be then denounced because it's not the perfect word of God. Full stop. It's now proven that it's a lie. So why are we still here talking? Why are we still here doing dawah? So again, this is madness. People should now just come to the term, accept it for what it is, and fucking move on. Because you know what? It's enough we're looking at our arseholes all day going, yeah, you know what? It looks really good and how great it looks when there's when we should be looking forward. It's as simple as that. Why are we here still discussing Islam every fucking day? Why? Well, it's dead.
totally
It's over. It's a fun religion. Leave it. It's come out imperfect. It was meant to be the perfect word. It's not. Let's move on. Jesus Christ. It's like we just love watching the car accident over and over again on fucking loop. What is it? Just move on. Done.
Yeah, can I just say something? The reason why we are talking about this particular issue about sex slavery is because it's a kind of like a moral barometer of how Muslims see non-Muslims and the world. And if you can, in your own hand, in my opinion, when people are saying, okay, it's okay for your family or your sister or your mother or your child or your wife to be a sex slave if we capture them during wartime, but it's not okay for our people, then what you're saying is that you see us as lesser than you.
Yeah. No,
because
Raj,
but this is what I'm saying. This is why I think this particular question is very important.
They see people lesser than themselves. That's the worst part. They see people lesser than themselves. Like you're not even equal with me. You're less than me. So you're not even on the same page to be considered as worthy, respectable people. You're shit.
Can I ask you this question then? I'm going to put you on the spot now. I'm going to say the same question to you. Yeah, I'm going to ask you this question. Yeah, I'm going to ask you this question. If your sister, you died in battle, and say you was a non-Muslim.
Stop
asking. I need to ask this question because it's a question that I need to know. And your sister was captured and all of your family was massacred. She was then captured by your killer and then given an ultimatum to be a slave or even be a sex slave. Would you think that she made that choice through sound mind, or was she under duress?
Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. It's forced. It's wrong.
All right. So then, in my opinion, you have a rational mind, which that you're going with your morality rather than. But you do know that contradicts
the Jami. Don't worry, he'll be at the Jami on Friday though.
The what?
I will never condemn something Allah allowed. See, it's a difference between Muslims who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Muslims who do not.
Can I ask your question?
All right, fair enough.
Can I ask your question? You go
live. Like go live.
Of course you can.
You're so straightforward.
Go live.
Yeah.
Right, such a knowledge.
When you said that, are you making takfir on me?
I'm not making takfir on you, but what I am saying is, when you open the book and say what Allah said, it's not right and we can't do it, what are you doing? You're objecting to Allah. You are a slave. You are the slave of Allah. We are already slaves, yeah? So we can accept being a slave.
Let them talk between them. Yeah.
So we are already slaves, correct?
Okay.
So do you have a right to refuse your master?
But how would you justify slavery then? Earlier,
you see what it is you see how Raj is asking the question. He's putting it in the context, of she's under duress, and if she sleeps with anyone, she's been raped. What about all the women that's been captured and refused? You think someone says, "Oh, I've been captured. I'll rape the fuck out of me." I ain't gonna say no.
Huh?
Did you get what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say is,
hold on, go like me.
Go like me.
I asked you earlier the same situation, and you said you would not be happy your family going through that, your sister, your mum, or your daughter. So you know so you know within your own head that they are under duress, and they'll probably, when you're under duress, you cannot make mentally capable. Are not mentally capable to make a sound decision. So you will.
And there's another thing I'd like to add here. You're putting this.
In essence, hold on, go like me. That is rape them, because the person consenting is not really consenting. They are under duress. Can you not see that?
Well, not necessarily. If a woman's horny and she wants to have sex with her captor, is that rape?
Yes.
Shut up.
How is that rape?
Seriously.
Okay, listen.
Seriously,
Go live.
shut up. You know what? Go live. You know what? I swear to God, you have got some warped version of
Can I speak?
how life is. You're
Okay, can I
telling
respond
me
to him?
that a woman would be even in the mood to be wanting sex.
Hassan, can I
Well,
respond?
Is that what
see,
you're saying?
it's how you
Can I
put
respond?
Is that what
slavery
you're
into
saying?
context. Do
No,
you
no,
think that,
I'm asking you. So if you've got
mate?
someone
I'll be
and
honest. You're
you
so
grab
dumb,
them, you
yeah.
take them
Your
away,
structured
from that point
questions are
onwards,
just
you've already got
rubbish.
control on their life. You've got their control.
Go
So
live.
once that
It's really
control's
funny
gone,
Go live.
how
dumbass,
people
they
just see
don't
slavery as one
they
thing.
don't
Yeah.
have a rational view. You're at they're at the mercy of your feeding. They're at the mercy of their lives. Can you think for a second that within all of that, she can go, you know what? I fancy a fuck. You dumb motherfucker, man. You dumb.
Do you know what's really funny? Well, I'm gonna ignore your insults. Yeah, maybe in debate that works for you to trigger someone, but I'm not gonna get triggered by a toothless bum. Yeah.
You know what? You're
Anyway,
called a
yeah.
psychopath.
The point
You're called
is
a psychopath.
that people like to just refer to that a couple of verses in the Quran that talk about sex slaves and slavery. You totally overlook
Enough.
the whole
How many
idea
more
of
do you
where
want?
Islam came
How
around.
many more do you
Before
want?
Islam,
How
before
many more do
Islam
you
came,
want? How
before
many more do you want? You want a couple more in
see
there?
how thick this guy is. This guy is so thick. Have you ever opened the Quran? Obviously you
Yeah,
haven't.
mate, I've read it. I've read it several
Yeah, I'm
times.
sure
Thank
you
you.
have, mate. Yeah. Okay.
But go
So
live. Can I
when
just can
Shut
I
up,
just
no,
you
interrupt
can
you for
I
have.
one
can I
second?
say he's not letting me say the
Oh yeah,
point
yeah,
because
yeah.
he just wants to get into a slanging match. Yeah.
You can't say
Yeah.
the point.
Before
You
Islam
can't.
came around, slavery was there. Islam actually came and regulated slavery. In Islam, in various hadith, in various verses, it talks about the greatness of releasing the slave. It also talks about having justice for slaves. It talks about
Change the
feeding
name
them,
of
looking
slave
after
to
them.
becoming
It
a
even
follower of
talks about
Islam.
it
That's
even
all they've
talks
done.
about if
You're a
someone
slave.
converts to Islam, it becomes unethical. Have you forgot about during the caliphates, there were slaves
Are you
that
a slave to
became
Islam? Are you a slave
caliphs?
to Allah?
Yeah.
Are you a slave to
Yes,
Allah?
I am.
Are you
I
a
am a
slave to
proud
Allah?
slave to
Are you a
Allah.
slave
Yes, I
to
am.
Allah? Are you a slave to
Yes,
Allah?
I am.
All right.
Yes.
So how did Islam ban slavery?
I never said Islam banned slavery. I
You
said it
did. You just
regulated
did.
slavery.
You just
This
did.
guy is not smart enough to understand anything. So I'm talking to
He
the
didn't
rest of
regulate
you
it.
guys, yeah? Because this guy is not going to understand anything, yeah?
All right.
In
So
Islam, it was held to high esteem. So, for example, in Islam, in Ramadan, if you were to just say break your fast by accidentally sleeping with your wife, one of the conditions to make up for that fast would be to free a slave. Yeah, freeing a slave holds high value. Not only that, there's teachings in Islam where if someone mistreated a slave on Judgment Day, they would receive lashes and get flogged. So everyone talks about slavery like it's some, one-sided story where you
live.
get a slave, you keep him in a room, and you bang the shit out of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
go live. Can I
it
just say
doesn't
something?
work like that.
Can I just say something? Yeah, the same way that there's certain things in life that we know now in the 21st century are abhorrent. We know pedophilia, we're killing people, we know this and that, and everybody knows that any form of slavery, whether it's in your eyes might be just or might be
Right, Rod,
civil,
you're from
it's
South
still
Asia,
wrong.
right?
So hold on. Let me just say that. No, and the problem we have is this year. You could have Islam be 99% amazing, feeding people, doing this, giving to thingy, looking after your mom, doing that. But if you have 1%, which is subjugating people within your faith, then your whole faith corrupt. Yeah, because that one thing is the thing that is going to also show your morality, and your
This
morality
is
at the
all just
moment.
personal opinion.
I appreciate that you're so honest, Go Live. This is why I'll keep bringing you on, and I want to talk to you because I'm hoping that you're an intelligent guy. That sooner or later you can start kind of putting these kind of ideas into a more, let's just say, more rational manner. At the
Look, I
moment,
can
think
do
you're
that.
looking at it from
I can rationalize as much as I want. I can use my intellect. I can use my opinions. Oh, that feels bad. Oh, the bottom line is a true Muslim will never go against the command of Allah.
Can I ask you a question?
Never.
That's your
Yeah,
question.
go ahead, JK.
Earlier, you said that a slave and his or her owner has the same rights. These two people are pretty much equal. So, what constitutes slavery in this scenario?
It's a job.
Huh? What?
but you can't leave. You can't leave without punishment.
So a job is
No. No, you can buy your freedom. It is incumbent on your owner. If you save enough money to buy your freedom, you can buy your freedom. And no, let me just say this because you're making it sound barbaric.
No, you can't go on until we define what a job is. A job is with something that where you're working for somebody, you're working for a company or some individual who is paying you a wage. That wage does not mean that you cannot leave that particular premises or that job. You can do something. If you want to resign tomorrow, you can resign. Life consequences will probably be bad for you because you won't have a job. But when you're under servitude, whether you call it servitude, slavery, you cannot leave.
It doesn't work like that, see?
Unless it's on pain of some kind of what we call punishment, whether that be death or
incorrect
or something like that. So let me ask you something. If a slave, let's just say someone under servitude under Islam was to say, screw you, master, I'm leaving, and I'm resigning, can they do that?
See, this is what I've noticed. You lot's debating strategy within this. What you do is, Hassan, I'm talking to Raj. Go smoke a zoot or something.
And in a job, you can leave. You're not forced to stay in a job.
Fuck your first cousin, you dumb motherfucker.
Oh, I'm not Pakistani, mate. Sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe if I sorry.
Let's do a bit of Pakistani bashing then. Come on.
No, let me get to the point. So that you lot's debating strategy is you say your sort of modern opinion of what's right and wrong, or it feels wrong. Then before I can answer, you just give me a blanket trap question of yes or no.
Go live.
So what I was gonna say before you gave me that question, this is what I was gonna say.
No. Because hold on. You have used Hassan. Hold on. Hassan, go live. You have said they are in a job. I defined to you what a job was. That is a job is something that you voluntarily go into and you can voluntarily
okay,
leave.
Yeah. I know what you're going to say. Your question was, I'll answer your question.
Yes, I want to know.
Can you say F you to your... No, you can't. No, you can't.
So it's not a job then.
Okay, so in a job you have rights. In a job you have human rights. In a job you get to have a 1-hour lunch break. With slavery, you have the rights of being clothed, fed, sheltered, looked after properly. You also have a right to buy your freedom. There's plenty more, and the religion puts serious constraints on the master. So someone who owns a slave, they have to abide by rules.
Are you defending it? Are you defending it?
What does it sound like? Of course I am. Yes, I am defending slavery. Yes, I am.
To be picked up on a helicopter, far away place, and then kicked out of the fucking helicopter.
Who's in the house? It's me. Oh my god, dude, he put me here with some jihadi music.
That's what you need to do. You need to be put into an aeroplane, flown over to the country that you need to, and then kicked out, bro. That's what you need to do. Because people like you with that attitude, that's not a Western civilized.
No, didn't you say I should be shagging my cousin because I'm like Pakistani or something?
You should be. You can make, and then you know what you could do. You could shag whoever the fuck you want there, bro.
No, let me tell you, mate. I've got a nice, beautiful English of age wife. Does that bother you? And she walks around in a hijab, and she chooses our way of life more than yours, mate. Just like the flocks of white Western women that keep coming to Islam. That bothers you so much, doesn't it? Because you've got no woman at home, just a few teeth, a bit of scalp, and no intellect. And you backstab your own Turkish people, and Turks don't like you, Muslims don't like you. So